This fall, Bill Cosby returns to television.
540, join.
Join the fun. All have some.
Blow it up now, give it a whack. Turn up the fun with Balzac. Hit it.
Hello. I am sorry, but I must
31
interrupt this
Grammy.
show.
Later, you know what it is. Hey, ham solo. It's time, baby. Low. It's time how we do. Hey.
They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you
Man, I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a whip. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you in red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA run the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blizzard. Got you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make you bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. No camera today, unfortunately. We've had a death in the family and I'm not looking too good. Usually, I look awesome. I'm not looking great today. Welcome in, Raichi, Vincent Vega. Appreciate you guys for showing up nice and early. Mr. Tai Talks, I see you there in the back room. Let me just fit you in real quick here on the screen. But yeah, as I was saying, unfortunately, we've had some bad news. And yeah, my uncle passed away yesterday. So won't be doing anything on camera today. Tai, how are you? What you been playing? Welcome in, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about your loss, Luke. Hard times for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of what I've been doing, really busy. I was at a wedding in Manchester for the weekend, so
In Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester.
Ah, man. Like the only reason that I feel like I'm jealous of you
hmm
is that you can just go to Old Trafford if you want. Like
Yes.
on a random Saturday, you can go to Old Trafford. That just I'm very envious of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
tell us.
Europe is really like
Small?
it's small in the sense that like there's a lot of things, like there's a lot of places you can go to for cheap. If you really plan well enough, you can get flights for like $70, $50, sometimes even 25 or 30, just depends. If you
And
plan
that's if you want to go by plane, because apparently
by plane.
train is easier or cheaper. Is that true?
Yeah, but by plane, like and I would have recommended train. Like if the plane is just the fastest way to get there, and if you're somebody who doesn't mind Airbnbs or hostels, then the whole trip is even cheaper for you. So it's really good. But yeah, Manchester. I was there for the weekend for a wedding. and it was good. The weather was great. That's the effect
Mm-hmm.
of global warming, people. Uh, this is one of the pros of it, but there will be cons in the future, just so you know. But yeah, overall, really fun, enjoyable, etc., etc., etc. No games. I need to kind of clean up a little bit here, do some things, and I will officially start Clear Expedition again. And this time, I want to get really into it.
This time's for real. It's not
Yeah,
a
this
joke.
for real. Yes, for real.
All right. All right. Um, yeah, suffice it to say, I also haven't been playing video games, but I am I'm kind of excited for my move. I'm moving um in the first week of next month. So in about 2 weeks from now, I'll be moving cities. Obviously, it's gonna be rough to play video games between now and then because I have a flight scheduled for Wednesday, and then by the time I come back, I'd start packing and whatever. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one for me.
Mm.
But I'm excited to play Doom Eternal. Sorry, I'm excited to play Doom the Dark Ages first because apparently the Dark Ages is actually a prequel. Did you know this?
Yes, I was aware.
Yeah, yeah. I was not aware. This is a prequel, so I have to play the Dark Ages first, and then I'm gonna replay 2016, which will be a pleasure for me, and then I'm gonna play Doom Eternal, which I haven't played either. So lots of Doom in my future, starting second week of June.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I'm gonna be setting up my new office slash streaming room. So we'll see what that's like because I still haven't picked a house. I mean, I have a short list, but I haven't picked anything where I want to stay. So we'll see. We'll see. Vince says just move to Sweden when it's too warm. Who who moves to the cold places? I don't understand. I thought the whole point of like vacation for Europeans was to look for the hot places. Is that not true, Ty?
Yeah, for sure. But Sweden is um so really, I feel like everywhere in Europe is just warm now, right? I don't know if there's any specific place where I'm like, oh, it's probably really cold over there. But yeah, people from Sweden, Germany, they all go to Spain. It's like Italy and Spain is a very popular tourist destination. Like those
Yeah.
economies, a large part of it comes from the tourist sector. Now the people there are getting a bit feisty, the tourists, because tourism is kind of outpricing them in many different ways. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but overall, like yeah, if you're in Europe, you're going to Spain, you're going to Italy, you're going to Portugal for holidays, basically.
All right. All right. Do you move to hot places when it's time to when it gets hot? Sorry, when it gets cold, or do you prefer the cold places?
Honestly, I don't really like hot places that much. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think it's I'm okay with the temperature that we currently have. It's warm enough, hot enough, I should
Mm-hmm.
say, and there's enough breeze, and then it gets cold here and there. Like I like a mixture. I like when it's winter, it's cold. I like when it's summer, it's summer. I don't like it where it's just hot all year round, and then in the summertime it's boiling hot. No, I'm not.
So don't come to Mozambique.
Yeah, I won't. Don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because our version of like, oh, it's chilly. It's probably like free as it's boiling for you guys. And
Hmm.
when we say it's hot, oh my guy,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
you don't wanna you don't wanna come to Mozambique when it's hot, bro. Trust me.
Hmm.
Hey, Lord Metroid, welcome in. Welcome. Everyone, please smash the like button on your way in. We will be talking about some Call of Duty today. There's a little bit of some Superman talk, and Witcher 3 turns 10 years old. Where were you when Witcher 3 came out?
I remember
Probably.
talking about it with my friend.
Okay.
Because I played The Witcher 2, so I was really, really excited for The Witcher 3. And I remember
Mm.
thinking, this was during the console time when I was saying to myself, why hasn't Xbox bought CD Projekt Red? After The Witcher 2, I was like, buy them. just buy them right now because their next game is going to be like crazy. Like these guys are talented, and I think, for example, with let's say Clear Expedition, Soundful Interactive, it was the first game, so you're kind of hoping for the next game
It
to
was
be
a
something
surprise.
better. However, I don't. What I would say is that I'm not saying it's a one hit wonder, but you just there's clearly talent there, right? And they can tell stories. But
Mm.
when you see The Witcher 1 and then you see the improvements to The Witcher 2, those two games is enough to tell you that the third one is going to be something crazy, something special, right? So Xbox didn't buy them, and obviously Witcher 3 came out on all platforms, and it was this big, huge game. Funny enough, I didn't buy it day one, even though I was excited for it. I was busy at that time doing different things. I think I was working. I think I just might move to a new job, so I didn't purchase it until a few months later. And it was a great game. It was really cool story. The Witcher and Mass Effect are the only two games that I've actually dived into the lore. Went on Wikipedia, went on articles to kind of find out more about
Wow.
the universe. Yeah, it was good. I was really interested in the background as to how human beings came to this new continent, and all the timelines, or sorry, the dimensions. But yeah, really really good game. um and he also said the templates for the kind of RPG structure we kind of have now, which Ubisoft then grabbed and then pioneered and pushed it forward. So when you play games like Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, it
Yeah.
traces back to Ubisoft, but Ubisoft got it from CD Projekt Red.
Witcher 3. Yeah.
Mhm.
No doubt. No doubt.
Mhm.
Welcome in, Fuzzy. Fuzzy says the other day it was 75 degrees and sunny. All of a sudden it started hailing, so we got everything. Hello. Yeah, man. Got yourself a fun basket on that day, that specific day. Rachie says I get to visit from Mexico who want me to drive them in the cold of the Canadian winters. I'm serious, man. You know what it feels like? It feels like people that live in cold places want to experience the cold so badly. And the people that live in cold places want to experience the heat very badly. It's one of those things where it's like humans are never happy, you know? You give them A, they always want B. If you give them B, they always want A. Vince says it's about 25 degrees Celsius is where hot starts. Yeah, I guess. In Mozambique, our version of cold is like 15 degrees Celsius. So hot for us, it's not 25. Hot starts at like 32. That's when we're it's starting to get warm in Mozambique if it's 32 degrees Celsius. Our average is like, yeah, 35. And then people start, panicking at 38. That's usually what happens around here. Fuzzy says, I tried playing Witcher again for a few hours earlier this year. Still can't get into it for some reason. Fuzzy, and like this is not the headline of today's show, but since you already started talking about it, Ty, I guess we could just get into it. I'll never understand the love for The Witcher, the game. But as far as the universe is concerned, I know what you mean. I, I I was also very interested in the universe. And then the TV show with Henry Cavill was also fucking awesome.
Mhm.
But then they swapped him out. I think they swapped him out in the second season. Did you watch the show?
I watched the first season, and to be honest, I was quite surprised how many people liked it. Like I remember telling my casual friends about it, and I pressured them, my casual friends, my ex girlfriend, all her friends, and they all watched it. Like, oh, Ty won't shut up about this show. And when it came out, I actually was a bit disappointed. It wasn't, it didn't break the boundaries like I wanted it to. It wasn't like Game of Thrones of the games, like The Witcher, whatever. But they all liked it. They all really thought it was good, and they were like, "Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. Thanks for recommending it." And I was thinking,
Which
"Huh."
is ironic because the guy that recommended it's like, it's kind of mid.
Yeah, I was a little bit like, "Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to waste your time." But they were like, "Oh, it was rocks, man. Like any other video game, TV shows." I was like, "Well, no, not yet."
Wow,
And I watched
that's
season two as
crazy.
well, and that was cool. But according to them, it started to die off a little bit, like it wasn't as interesting anymore. and that obviously shows with Netflix, more or less closing it down for like this season. So yeah,
You want to know what actually happened?
what's up?
In my opinion, at least, the first season was kind of okayish and good-ish because they did focus a good part of it on The Witcher, right? The second season, try and imagine with me, Ty. Imagine if you know the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if they made a TV show. They called it Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was not the focus. The focus was Zendaya, that fat dude, and other characters.
Mm.
But then they called it Spider-Man. That's what happened in the second season. And I think a lot of people dropped off specifically because of that, in my personal opinion. Hey, Lord Metroid, welcome to the membership. Welcome to the TSWS family. Everyone, just a quick reminder, membership's alive. It's $1 a month. And we really do support, we do like, sorry, I'm getting my tongue twisted here. We do appreciate all the support that you all give us, whether it's from memberships, constantly coming into the comment section and commenting and liking the video and sharing it out. We really, really, really appreciate you guys continue to support TSWS. Lord Metroid, thank you so much. Welcome. Oshers, welcome. Oshers won't be joining us today because he's got some stuff to do, real life and all of that. Things happen that are out of our control. So we're going to talk about the AAA versus AA another week. Sorry, Ty. I was saying about the show. About the show, the Witcher show.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine in the first season. The second season, they moved Henry Cavill's character to the side. He was kind of like just an extra. It felt like in his own show.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I jumped off. I was like, okay, I'm good. I came here for The Witcher. Y'all clearly aren't here for The Witcher. Y'all are here for all these other things. So that's when I jumped off. And you're right. A lot of people also jumped off specifically because of that. Hey, Retro, welcome in. Up the Villa, Retro, welcome. And then the stragglers, right? The people that were just being stubborn, they left when they removed Henry Cavill. That's when a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay, never mind, we're good." So now Netflix has been forced into this position. I think I enjoyed the show, at least the first season, more than I enjoyed playing the video game.
Mm.
As you well know, Ty, I played this whole thing, start to finish, and I just couldn't like it, man. I couldn't do it. At no point was I like, "Oh, I'm having so much fun." At no point. It's one of those takes of mine that I know 98% of video game people will disagree with me and call me all types of names, but it's just the one thing that I can't like. At no point did this thing hit. But tell us, what was your favorite thing or your favorite parts of The Witcher 3? Ron Slusher, welcome, and says, I never watched or played The Witcher. You in my opinion, Ron, you are missing nothing, in my personal opinion. Now, Ty is going to tell you why it's one of the greatest forms of media of all time. Go ahead, Ty.
So I think there is there's this term called like the perfect storm, right? I think that's when The Witcher came. And the first thing was it was different, it was this idea of an Eastern dev from Poland making a Eastern dev, Central Europe, whichever you want to call it. I'm pretty sure it's Eastern, making a game. And it was a small company that no one really relatively knew. And they're making an RPG game. And in this RPG game, it was focusing on fantasy. So it wasn't sci-fi like Mass Effect. And, the last time you got a game like this was Dragon Age. Except this one was gritty. It was a lot more mature. There was violence. And there was a compelling story enough. There was side characters that were interesting. You had these two babes in in Yennefer and Triss. And the game had, the game was mature. It had sex, it had all these things. And the music
That
was
gore as well.
gore. The music was well done. And the combat wasn't great, but back then I don't think the combat was necessarily great. Like, people expected like or third person action adventure games to be more or less like this. And it was a huge open world that you could go and do whatever the hell you want to do. You could go on the boat and sail, and it had very strong side content. This was enough, and I think around this time people were getting really into fantasy. I believe Game of Thrones was also out at this time as well. So it was just it was all these factors. Oh, sorry, let me not forget choice and consequences. RPG games are
Oh
becoming
yeah,
really
yeah,
popular
yeah.
around this time, and open world games, and
I think that
people
was
were
the Mass
basically.
Effect
Mhm.
effect, right? That was the Mass Effect effect.
Yep, there you go. And The Witcher was giving you choice and consequences. If you make this decision, this bad thing happens. If you do it this way, this good thing happens. Everything came together to give you a game where the devs seemed very all about the fans, right? They were always preaching about how the fans are great, the fans are this. Hey, we're gonna give you DLCs for free. Here's a free horse, here's a free horse saddle, etc., etc. This was a time when the industry was saying things like, remember, EA was saying people don't like single player games, and The Witcher comes out and just destroys that
Oh
narrative.
man.
Um, the idea of like, hey, we're gonna keep selling you items, but The Witcher is like, no, here you go. Then the two expansion packs came out, and once again, they were reasonably priced for the content you got.
And
It was
apparently
cheap.
there were amazing stories in there.
Exactly. It was really, really good as well. So they were very on this crossword being very gamer friendly. And people love this. And people love them. I think the game gets all that kind of credit. Maybe the best way to also evaluate the situation is just to focus on the game itself as opposed to the circumstances. Do you like them because of their story? Do you like them because they're very nice to the fan base, etc., etc.? But if I'm being perfectly honest, I haven't really played a game like The Witcher Wild Hunt since then. The previous one was probably Skyrim, but it's a little bit different. Now, games like The Witcher are probably like everywhere. Horizon Zero Dawn is Witcher like, Assassin's Creed is Witcher like. So there's no new surprises there. But it came at a time where it felt fresh, and I think the industry needed that. And plus, Geralt is a badass. He's just cool.
No doubt, dude. That character design, like
Yeah, white hair, the whole
peak.
thing.
The whole thing it's awesome. Like even the way his armor is displayed and the way he moves. Like I didn't like the game itself,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, it's trash" or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just accept that it did not click for me.
Hmm.
If someone were to figure out a way to sort out like the rights, the IP rights or whatever with with the original writer of the books for Witcher, I would totally buy and read comic books or graphic novels
Hmm.
of The Witcher, because like you said, the lore is very interesting and the story itself is also pretty deep. It's great, but the game just did not. And these guys, this looked. I don't know if you remember the jokes, but these guys' uniforms, people made jokes that they look like ball sacks.
Oh, in the TV show or the movie?
No,
Oh,
in the game, bro.
game.
I I remember when I was playing, I was like, huh, that's an interesting design for armor.
Hmm.
And then when someone pointed out that, yeah, this looks like ball sacks, I was like, yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Hmm.
But that's just me. That's just me. Fuzzy says it's right up my alley in so many ways. I hope to get into it someday. Hey, good luck with that, Fuzzy. Good luck with that. With the way prices are going, right? With the way prices are going for games, we're going to have a lot of time to get into our backlogs. So in a way, right? In a way, we should be thanking these companies. In a way, they're doing us a favor. Turns out the backlog can be beaten. Ron Slash is playing South of Midnight and Doom Eternal right now. Okay. Remake Station, did Microsoft buy? No, they did not buy CDPR. They did not. Yes, exactly, Vince. Pig testicular design. You don't see it, Ty.
What you mean?
The armor. You don't think it looks like ball sack skin?
I probably need to look at it again. To be honest, I haven't.
All
yeah.
right. All right. Hey, man, I'm not trying to make this awkward.
Listen, it's actually thoughts don't come into my mind that often like that. I don't know about you guys.
All right. Metroid says, I personally say 9. Okay, so rating the game 9 out of 10. The world is amazing, story is great, and the side quests are interesting. Okay, the combat is not good. Otherwise, I would have given the game a 10. Yeah, the combat was a bit grating, just a little bit. Ty, you told us what you liked about it. What don't you like about The Witcher 3?
And what I like about The Witcher 3, the actual gameplay itself isn't as good, to be honest. It's a lot more. It's very basic, so nothing too special, nothing too crazy. So I think that's kind of it. That's really pretty much his weakness. The second weakness that to me is a little bit more subjective is when you play The Witcher 2, you
Mm-hmm.
realize how difficult that game is, and you realize that, for example, if you wanted to go fight a monster, you would really have to prepare and plan. You would have to go get those oils over again. You would probably set traps before the actual fight started because the game was that hard. And when you played The Witcher 3, everything was streamlined. The Witcher 3 is a very casual game, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's so,
yeah.
so, so casual, which is quite funny because, all these casuals came in and they love The Witcher 3 and the CD Project Red made it easier for the casuals. They'll complain like, ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. But the truth is, if you're just coming into The Witcher 3, it is a casual Witcher experience compared to the previous two for sure. 100%. So that's one thing I didn't like about it. I didn't mind it because the way I just adapted to it, right? So I told you that when I play video games, I don't level up every single time. I get
Yeah.
all these points. It's all cool. I keep them, and then as soon as maybe I find a boss that's very difficult, I'll keep trying to fight him. I'll keep trying to fight him, and then I might take some of those points and then maybe improve my fire resistance, or I'll go look for like armors to kind of help me out. But I do like challenges in games. I just don't like Souls like challenges.
You don't like Souls like challenges. Okay. Fair enough. Fair
Mm.
enough. Someone in the chat asked, when is Microsoft gonna have the $80 game? Who asked that?
They said this summer, next holidays. So
Yeah, yeah,
so,
but someone in the chat specifically said, what game do I think it would be if memory serves? Okay, it was Rachie. He says, what will be Microsoft's first premium $80 game? I think it's going to be Outer Worlds 2. Anything sooner than that, I think people are going to be pissed off about, because like if you look at the Microsoft's release schedule, everything else has been, well, not everything, but a lot has been announced up until October. Outer Worlds 2, we still don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out in 2025. I think they wouldn't want to give like an $80 price tag um before, oh sorry, yeah, before October, right? Because most of the games that have already gotten announced, like Marathon, or no, not Marathon, but Borderlands, which are the big game, Hell is Us, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Gears of War Reloaded, Mafia the Old Country, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Like a whole bunch of these AAA games are coming out. And so far, we still don't have the $80 game. So, yes, that's also a good shout, Vince. Ninja Gaiden 4, because Ninja Gaiden 4 also does not have a date. So it's quite possible that Ninja Gaiden 4 could be the first $80 game.
I
Uh,
really doubt that.
you doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Okay, why?
I think from a presentation point of view, well, from what I saw in that showcase, the developer direct, Ninja Gaiden 4 didn't look like a game that people are going to see as $80 and think, yeah, this is the next game, right? It's missing that kind of maybe graphical leap. And I don't think these kind of games in particular sell very well. So I would caution them to not do that. Now, I think the good thing there is that it's a multi-platform game. So if it's on PlayStation, Xbox, and you're going to put on the Nintendo Switch too, and obviously on Game Pass and Steam, I think you can get away with it. There's enough people there who want to buy it for $80. But Ninja Gaiden, it just doesn't look like that kind of game that has that much investment inside. One thing that Strauss Zelnick did say is that when you have an IP that is existing, people are more likely to pay the higher prices because they trust and they know that IP, right? And it's the
Mm-hmm.
new games that need to be wary about the $80 or $70 price tag. But Ninja Gaiden, I would be surprised if it is. Like when I look at Ninja Gaiden and Doom, Doom to if Doom is not $80, then I don't know why Ninja Gaiden would be $80.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of Doom, people have been making some leaps in terms of the fact that it hasn't gotten uh, a high a high player count on Steam.
Hmm.
Any thoughts on that?
I think I saw one comment talk about the ray tracing effect, and I think that's something to be considered. But one of the issues that I find when it comes to discussions like this is that people like one answer because multiple answers hurt their brain, right? It hurts
It's
them
too
too much.
confusing.
It's too confusing, and they like
Like when I was saying
execution.
that I hate, like when I was saying that I hated playing Witcher 3, but the character design is awesome,
Hmm.
but the universe is awesome. It's like, what? How could you have hated it? If two things can be true. But go ahead.
Exactly. So I'm guessing that there's a chance that the ray tracing, whatever that is, I don't know the details of that, the requirement might have played a role in terms of reducing people's ability to maybe play it on a different frame rate. So that's number one. Because the key thing is assessing what the issues are and which one is the prevailing one, right? So that's a potential one. Number two, it's possible that that obviously I think the last game came out around COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
So if it came out around COVID time, there was an influx of players who wanted to play new games, and Doom is a franchise that people know from the past. So it's clear that maybe people have purchased it just based off that, and then these players left and I don't know actually playing Xbox or PlayStation or PC games anymore, right? And one of the reasons why Assassin's Creed Valhalla did so well was because it came at the right time. It came with the new consoles and it came when COVID was around. So, Ubisoft recognizes that and says, do not compare any of the future Assassin's Creed games to Valhalla simply because there was extenuating circumstances that led to that game doing the numbers it did. So,
It was a fluke. It was a fluke. Say it. Say it with your
don't
chest.
know about
It
fluke
was a
now,
fluke.
but there was definitely some variables that helped them along. So
This
there's that.
guy,
Mhm.
pure corpo speak. Pure corpo speak.
So factual speak. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. Anyways.
And then apart from that, there's also the idea that maybe this is probably not a big one, but is Doom on multiple different storefronts now? Is it's on the Microsoft storefront? Is it on Epic or all these other storefronts? Maybe taking some sales away. Maybe not. That could be true. But the biggest outlier here is probably also Game Pass. How much of is it affecting sales? Because Doom was not on Game Pass last time. And what we do know for a fact is that Microsoft has been saying that PC and cloud is where Game Pass is growing, and Game Pass, I believe, grew year over year. Was it 40% or something like this? So that means that there are more people who weren't on Game Pass who are now on Game Pass. And maybe these individuals would have purchased Doom, right? So these are all the factors, and another factor could be maybe the game sucks. Maybe the game just isn't that good. Now the question
Yeah.
is, out of all those points and whatever points you guys in the chat think as well, how do you allocate them? Is it 20% Game Pass's fault and then 30% Game Sucks fault, and then is it 10%, the ray tracing effect? Like these are all discussions that we can have, but there's not one answer.
All right. It's a little bit more nuanced. A little
Yeah,
bit more
it's a lot
nuanced.
more nuance than that.
Rachie says Valhalla sold like crazy because it was the only game for testing the next gen consoles. We also forget that specific
Very
point,
true.
guy. That
Very,
is
very
a
true.
very specific. That was one of the first games next gen. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this one actually pushes the new consoles."
But look, even remember, it was supposed to be Cyberpunk was supposed to come out around that time, and then they
Mm-hmm.
delayed it, right? And then once they
Yeah.
delayed it, now you're like, oh, I ain't got nothing else to play. I was excited to play something, so okay,
Might as
Valhalla,
well.
might as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So it got a lot of assists,
Mhm.
and we don't always bring up the said assists when we're talking about the successes of certain games. Um, Vince says, I'll buy the Dark Ages like I did Eternal years later when Denuvo is removed for $15. Hey, man, we are, and this is hard for a lot of people to accept. This is why I always keep saying it's our fault for microtransactions, right? Not Loke's fault specifically, but gamers' fault for microtransactions continuing to dominate our our hobby. Okay, because if most players were like Vince, for example, Ty, do you think Denuvo would continue if 80% of players, I'm talking casuals included, were like, oh, there's Denuvo, I'm not buying it. I
Um,
think,
Go ahead.
I think software like Denuvo would be abandoned quick and fast if the vast majority of gamers were like, oh, okay, I'm not going to buy games with Denuvo day one. What they do is they'd find something else like Denuvo and then keep it pushing. But I think Denuvo would die like a very quick death if most gamers were like Vince, who says that he won't buy a game with Denuvo.
Hmm. Um,
Also, it's not up for discussion. The whole situation about does it impact performance? It's been proven. It's been proven by people that are obsessed with stuff like that, like Digital Foundry and all these other guys.
yeah. That's an interesting one. Yeah, so they wouldn't use de novo, and I think
Yes.
I guess I wonder if the competition will be better. Like, is there something else that's like a de novo alternative, right?
Yeah, there's other ones. There's other ones.
But is
There's other
de novo the
alternatives.
most popular ones?
No, Denuvo is the most hated because it's the one that most obviously affects performance on PC.
Hmm.
Yes.
Um. Yeah, I think Raichi's right. Was it Raichi that said that?
Vincent Vega.
Oh
Vincent
yeah,
Vega.
yeah, I think Vincent is definitely right that if everyone thought like him, like it wouldn't exist, right? Because nobody will buy these games. Because I
Yeah.
think you could make it, you could just run the numbers that if you're making an argument that we lose 20 to 10 to 20% of sales from piracy, and Denuvo helps protect that. What if 100% of those sales says, "Well, screw you"?
What's up?
I mean, then obviously you're just gonna like take the 20% hit. So yeah, no, he's right. He's right.
And like I don't work at these companies, but it seems like a dumb, how can I put it? It seems like a dumb decision to make. Maybe I'm wrong. But it seems like a dumb decision to make considering how much money is already made on PC.
I
Like
I, I think
uh, places like Steam, GOG, and Epic, and whatever. I think they've proven that there's no issue. There's no issue. There's no real issue with piracy on PC because, like Gabe Newell said, the people that will buy your game will buy your game. The people that don't want to buy your game will just pirate it because it's not an issue of oh, this game has Denuvo, so now it won't be pirated. It's an issue of Stellar Blade's not available in Mozambique. Loke really wants to play it on PC. He's now forced to pirate it. Do you get me?
hmm
Yeah, it's an availability issue. At least that's what Gabe Newell said, and he doesn't have all the data, but he has way more data than most of us. Go ahead.
um I think companies have always been scared of piracy, and I think there has to be some arguments there, right? And the argument could be that they were able to probably say that we lose 5% to 10%, excuse me, 10% of sales on PC, and like even Nintendo said something similar, right? Legend of Zelda. Sorry, 1 second.
Okay, while Ty gets it together. Raichi says, played 3 hours of Dark Ages and Doom isn't for me. Raichi, have you tried 2016? Have you tried Eternal? Because crazy thought, I know they're actually very different games. They're actually very different games. Yes, you still use a gun. Yes, you still kill demons. But trust me, try the other two games. Trust me. Remake Station says nobody's buying new games because you don't have to. I think there's something there, Remake Station. I think there's something there. Uh, we haven't had many must-play games recently. Well, not excuse me, not recently, but we could say this gen. There's been a lot of good games, but there hasn't been a lot of, oh my word, this is an amazing game that's like a seminal title, like Cyberpunk, for example.
Hmm.
That's a must play. It's one of those games where, are you even a gamer? If you haven't played Cyberpunk and considering the sales and whatever, the question is it just maybe not your vibe or something? Because anyone that likes anything to do with open world games has played Cyberpunk. It's like essential reading. Ty, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right.
I'm not too well adverse in the numbers when it comes to piracy. I'm sure that the companies do lose something. The question is, is it worth it that much? Like, can you take the hits? Maybe if you have a system in place where you have to sign in every 3 days. I think like a lot of games do that now, where they check to see if you're online, and if that account or that game file is a pirated one, then you get banned. So I think that's a better strategy than using something that actually negatively affects the game. And my issue with a lot of piracy people is just some of the statements they said. Like, I think one guy said recently that the best form of something is
Ownership
ownership is piracy.
or game preservation.
Yeah, like telling people to pirate Netflix TV shows, and I said the show, I was like, you're such a loser, and everyone downvoted me on that Reddit page. But even that guy, like the one who was talking about like AAA industry needs to be ashamed of themselves. Like, he supports all this piracy stuff as well. I've heard him make comments about how if companies take the piss, let's pirate their games. Like, yeah, just like let's steal. Let's just be real with what's actually going on. Somebody has made a product, and they're saying that if you want this product, you have to pay this money. Now, the normal person would just say, nope, that's too expensive. I'm out. I don't like your practice. I ain't buying this product. But what piracy does is say, well, just go steal it instead. And I
Okay,
don't know
but
when we normalize stealing.
okay, hold on. So what about game ownership? Because I've seen a lot of arguments that say, which is true, that say these companies are telling us that we don't own the games.
Hmm.
Like, we're paying essentially just to rent these games
Hmm.
until an unknown time in the future when they can take it away from us. At that point, why not just make it like a Game Pass situation and don't be charging people full price if they're not going to own the games? What would you say to that?
I would say it's still irrelevant though, because I can make a product myself, and I can say, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I don't want you to own this product. I want to do it as a license. That doesn't mean you
Okay.
can. You might not agree. If you don't agree, then don't buy
Okay.
it. You can't. You can't. You can't. I'll tell you a story. Yeah, that I did that was actually quite bad. I had I think it might have been Call of Duty, one of the Call of Duty games when I was a kid, and I went to the
Call of
store.
Booty.
I went to the store, and 'cause the game wasn't really working properly, so I kind of felt like GameStop they screwed me over, and I took it back to them like, your game is not working properly, and they were like, nah, you passed the whatever 20-day mark or whatever it is, and you can't return it.
Oof.
And I was like, you mother, whatever the hell it was, right? So I went to a different GameStop, and I was like, I want to pre-order. I want to not pre-order. What's it called again? Like trade in this game. And I remember thinking to myself that the game works, but it just crashes a good bit. So I just wanted a replacement. I remember thinking to myself like
Mm-hmm.
they offered me something like $17 for it, and I was like, "Who the hell do you people think you are?" I was
Damn.
really
After you
pissed
paid
off.
$60.
Yeah, and the things like they were gonna upset it like
Oof.
45 or something. And I was like, "You knackers, like you're
Oof.
disgusting." And
Damn.
and in the end, I was thinking to myself like, I hated them so much for that, right? But then I said to myself,
Uh-huh.
"But no one's forcing me to sell it to them. That's their price. Who am I to then say, because you're charging me more than I think you should charge me, I'm going to rob you? I'm going to steal it." Like, look, if you have a business and you say, guys, I'm selling these, whatever, apples, or I'm selling this mechanical tool that can fix your car for $250. Now somebody can come and be like, no, I think it should be 100. You say, I don't care, it's $250. It's my product. Does that mean they can break into your house and steal it? They can't, right?
Um, I guess not. No.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I see with this conversation. Like, I don't like your practices. I don't like who you are. I don't like what you're charging me. So I'm going to steal it instead. That's ridiculous. Now, I'm not targeting the people who can't afford it, or people who have no means to access these games. I'm targeting the people who do have all opportunity to purchase these games. People who would make decisions like, you know what, I spent $200 on microtransactions last month, and I've just bought South of Midnight, I've just bought Avowed. I have Avowed on Xbox, but I want to play it on Steam, so I'm gonna go to buy it on Steam as well. But then a company like Nintendo says Mario Kart for $80, and your response is, I'm gonna just pirate it. Like, how?
I,
Why?
is that a dig at me?
That's a dig at all
Is
of
that a dig at me?
every single one of you people.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit. All right. So, some background for everyone here, some lore, some background lore. I played South of Midnight. I got the premium upgrade on Xbox, and I enjoyed it so much that I got it on Steam as well. So, I respect the hustle, Ty. I respect the hustle. I respect. Remake Station says I'm a pony and I need to stop pretending I'm not. Such a pony that I have both consoles, and I haven't even booted up the PS5 this year, and I've been playing the crap out of the Xbox. That's that's how much of a pony I am. Remake Station, you hit that one right on the head, brother. No one could have nailed it more than you. Dairies, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says, going to be a good show. The Xbox haters not here. Yeah, y'all need to cut some slack for Oshus. He's not that bad. He's not that bad. Uh oh, Remake Station was talking to Rage here. Okay, gotcha. Anytime I hear pony talk and then I hear just you, and you're not atting anyone, I'm like, all right, he's talking to me. He's talking to me. Fuzzy says I wouldn't feel bad about pirating Nintendo games. LOL. Listen, Ty, do you think pirating Nintendo games is different, or do you put it under the same umbrella that same protective umbrella that you were putting it under previously
Under the same
or just
protective
now?
umbrella, Nintendo makes innovative, interesting, good games that are evergreen as well. Nintendo doesn't engage in all these heavy microtransaction practices that we all hate. They push the industry from a creative perspective, and they're always trying new things to, and they're not focusing on high graphics to entertainers. They're focusing on gameplay. So, if there's any company that you probably even really want to support is Nintendo, and that's it. So I don't know why we would pirate their games just because they're saying that we believe Mario Kart, which has over is it 40, 60 million um, users, is and it's an lasting game that you can play this year, next year, the year before, year after, and continuously in the future. We believe that game is actually has value, and we're investing more in this game. There's a lot more we can do in this game than the previous version. So we're going to increase the cost, to match what we think it is. The idea that the answer is like, no. I guess the idea is like we're saying that like games, no matter what, should always be 60 to $70. Um, I don't agree with that. I think, we like variable pricing. We like that clear obscure is $50. We like that
Hell yeah.
collateral is probably $10. And we like the fact
We
that like
want
maybe
everything to be $50 or less.
Mhm.
That's what we want.
and some people might demand that, and I don't want the industry to go that way. But then how do
Hmm.
you get a company like Rockstar to invest, as some people have reported, 1 billion in GTA? Because let's be very clear, when these people saw GTA, the trailer, they were blown away with the physics. They're blown away with how real it looks, and they're thinking this is gonna be the game that defines a generation. You don't get that if you don't put the investment in.
And Ty, I feel like that's perfectly fine if it's GTA. It can't be Mario Kart. It can't be. I'm sorry, dude. It cannot be freaking Donkey Kong whatever. It can't. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's been 25 years.
But then the question would be why are you thinking that then?
Because in my opinion, right? GTA actually looks like a premium game.
So then is
And
the argument.
if you look at Rockstar's past, you don't have to worry about the gameplay part. They'll sort that out. It'll be great. What I'm saying is no one has played GTA, no one has played Mario Kart World, and I'm saying I'll pay $80 for GTA. I'd rather pay 50. Don't get me wrong. I would much rather pay 50 for GTA. But I'll pay $80 for GTA. I'll do it day one. I'll pay $90. I'll pay $100 for GTA. Because it's kind of like I know I hope I don't get clipped for this, but it's kind of like all these food analogies, car analogies that they make and whatever. Ty, I'm sure you've sat in a Range Rover in your lifetime.
Mhm.
I know you've sat in a cheap Skoda. No offense to Skoda lovers, but when you get into both of those cars, there's a difference. You can feel it. You can see it. Even before you even sit in it, you can just look at it and be like, yeah, okay, this one's probably going to cost way more than that one. And for me, the reason why I'm okay with GTA is because it looks the part and I know it'll play the part. Mario, Mario Kart World, I'm sorry, dude. Obviously, there's a bias, right? Mario Kart games aren't really Mario games haven't been my thing for decades at this point. But yeah, man, I feel offended when I see that stuff. Reichi says pirating Nintendo games isn't simply morally correct, but it's the duty of every human being on Earth. Tai, do you have a rebuttal to this?
I don't I don't know what to say to that. What I will say to the point that you said is that
Yeah.
as soon as you said it doesn't look like this, but then what are we talking about then? Are you saying
We're talking about two games no one has played
Mhm.
because Mario, I'm also saying, does not look like this. Do you understand? The same way when someone says, "Oh, Mario Kart World looks awesome," no no one's allowed to challenge this person. When I say GTA looks awesome, suddenly I'm the troglodyte. I'm the problem. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I think what you were maybe referencing was like GTA looks the part, but Mario World doesn't look the part, right?
Yeah.
But then the question that I would put is, are you then saying that we judge games based on how much investment has been put in and how much you can make the game look pretty and sexy?
It's
Because
part of the equation,
listen,
Ty.
Nintendo's argument is that I told you y'all didn't care about graphics and AAA blockbuster stuff. Y'all just cared about gameplay
It's
and
part
innovation.
no. no, Ty. This is why people end up having problems, right?
Mhm.
And you were just saying nothing is when you're talking about nuance in your Witcher response.
Mhm.
So sorry, in the game sales response about Doom: The Dark Ages. Nothing is ever black and white.
Mhm.
There's no everything or nothing. That's for movies and TV shows and fantasy land. Okay?
Mhm.
It's only in the movies that, oh no, it doesn't matter that she's ugly. She's beautiful on the inside, so it'll work out. My guy, it's not going to work out. Do you get me?
Mhm.
Video games, same thing. I'm not here saying all all it takes is good looks for a game to be awesome. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you don't have the looks down, the hill is steep. It is very, very steep. It is you need to be vampire survival levels of addictive.
I think what's
You
interesting
you
here
need
is
to
this, right?
you need to
Uh,
have a gameplay loop that is godly. You
let me
can't
pose
just be,
this to
oh,
you.
this is good.
Is Clear Obscure the game that I was playing that had all this double that had the same that had reused character models over and over again? I was like, okay, I see you. It has very linear like areas that aren't really graphically maybe sexy or as open as, let's say, as Assassin's Creed Shadows. Is
No,
Clear Obscure?
the areas are beautiful.
Yeah, they're
They're
beautiful, but
just
like,
not open. They're
yeah,
just
but you
not
can,
open
yeah,
world.
but you can tell like from a graphical point of view, it's not like anything crazy, right? It's aesthetically
I th- I
pleasing.
th- I think it's aesthetically amazing.
Yeah, aesthetically
I
pleasing.
love I love the graphics and the design of Clear Obscure.
Okay,
I think
but
it's amazing.
yeah, but we know the games are like a double A kind of game, right? Like budget wise,
Hell
whatever you
yeah.
call it. Yeah.
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
if they said the game is worth we want to charge $70 for this game, will you turn around and say like, who the hell do you think you are?
Fuck.
How dare
Ah,
you? I'm gonna
man.
pirate your
But
game now.
again, we're going to your argument about trying to be an absolutist. We cannot zero in on one specific thing. The price also helped that game pop. It's not just, oh, the gameplay was excellent. The design of like the look of the game was also excellent. Uh, Ergo, one of the all-time best games of no. The price was also a factor. This Every single success that happens is like a Voltron of factors. It's the super powerful left arm, the super powerful right arm, the powerful left leg, the powerful right leg, and the torso and the head. What you are trying to do is like dismantle Voltron. If you dismantle Voltron, is it still Voltron, Ty?
If you dismantle Voltron, man, the parts are still Voltron, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, but by that argument, I don't know. I'm not even understanding anymore what we're even discussing
Well,
at this point.
the argument is more like, how do we value these products, right? And what is everybody's criteria? So, for
We
example,
value the entire thing.
we value the
We look at the entire product. We look at the price. We look at when it's releasing. We look at who it's releasing next to, which is why a lot of games are trying to run away from GTA. We look at the aesthetic of the game. We look at the motion of the game. We look at the story of the game. We look at the gameplay mostly. Obviously, that's like 50% of it. But if you only get 50% of it, great, and then everything else is subpar. That's why I'm saying you need to do something special, like a vampire survivor
okay,
situation
but
where,
then what you've described to me here are a lot of either external factors or creative factors, right? But the one
yeah.
factor that Nintendo and even Sandfall are like that is consistent with them is the price of the game, not the price, sorry, the development cost of the game. So one thing we can say is that Mario Kart World will probably be in the 90s or high 80s Metacritic because they all like they're fun games. We cannot deny that they're fun games. Not only are they fun games, they're fun games that you can play with your whole family, right? And Nintendo has
Something's
now
wrong with
said,
me, man. Something's wrong with me. I've never enjoyed one Mario Kart World game, Mario Kart game ever. Like since the whole thing popped off, I've tried a couple.
Mm.
I've never sat there and been like, "Oh my god!" I played it myself. I played it with friends when I was still in college. Nothing, bro. Nothing.
Mm. Okay, imagine Mario Kart. Sorry, imagine Mario Kart is a
Did you say
game.
Mario Crack?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of her. But imagine Mario Kart is a game that let's say you actually like, or and let's say we're just valuing the game based on what it is, right? So the Mario Kart Wii U
Hold
version
on, hold
was
on.
it.
Hey, clowns, welcome in. Welcome in, clowns. Says, look, my Jalen Hurts super fan, but you know I hate Jalen Hurts. With everything that I have in me, I hate Jalen Hurts. You know this. Go ahead, Ty.
Sorry. So imagine that Mario Kart is a game that is, it's quality game, right? So the last one has a 93 on Metacritic. The one before that has a 91 on Metacritic. So the game is valuable. Sorry, 92 on Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
So we just know that right now the game is valuable. So Nintendo is saying aesthetically, like you said, look, we got that. We got the gameplay down. We have all these things down. What I'm telling you now is that we are now putting more people and more money money into this game. It's gone from
Mm-hmm.
12 players to 24.
Mm-hmm.
There's now an open world where you can drive to different locations, including more game modes. The cost has increased for this game. It's probably going to score in the 94, 95. You're telling me that we should not charge over whatever, maybe $60. And if we do, you're going to pirate
Mm-hmm.
my game. Why? Because you want more.
Okay. Okay. So hold on. I think we're
But
talking.
hold on, but to be clear, the same
Uh-huh.
game, Claire
Yeah.
Obscure, is a
Yeah.
90 plus game like us. It has great gameplay like we do. It does aesthetics like we do. But if it's 80, you won't pirate it, but you pirate ours.
All right. Pause. Clearly, we're now discussing two different things.
Mhm.
Very quickly, I just want to say hi to Aussie fan 66. Welcome in. Says there was a rumor Borderlands 4 will be $80. That's where they have you. If you're a big fan of the IP, I will pay $80. Unfortunately, Aussie fan 66, 1,000,000%, sir. If it's $80, I'll probably get it as well for $80. Guys, the problem with the increase in price, in my opinion, is specifically this is going to put you in a situation where the casuals are going to vanish. You're going to have a situation where Tae will look at Borderlands 4 and be like, I'm not a big fan. It looks interesting, but I'm not a big fan. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just not going to buy the game. But if it was 50 and Tae is kind of bored with his stuff that he's playing at the moment, he might pay $50. He might pay $50 to buy it and be like, let's see what's up. Especially if it pops off. But when you start pricing games $50, $100, 60, 70, 80, $100, you start going through the situation that a lot of like even movies are going through at the moment. You start pricing out people that are not sure. People used to go to the movies as like, whatever, I'll just go. You know? It's not that expensive. It's fine. Let's go to the movies every single Saturday, or let's go 3 times a month. Let's go twice a month. Now, the movies are getting so expensive, specifically in America, to the point where, well, not just America, even here in Mozambique, the prices are crazy. It's to the point where it's like, oh no, if I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this, I know it's going to be streaming in 6 months. I'll be fine. I still have a lot of anime to watch. I still have a lot of TV shows I need to watch, and I'll be good. And that's screwing with the movie industry. You best believe it's going to happen to the video game industry. You best believe that. And Tai, to your point about Mario Kart and people pirating it, I think the main issue, and again, I'm going to be repeating what Gabe Newell said. The main issue is availability. It's not even price at many points. If Nintendo games were on PC, I think they'd be getting way less pirated than they are right now, even at $80.
That's true.
Because there's a lot of people that are like me that are just, I'll just come out and say it. I'm an achievement whore. I am what I am. Okay. I like to see the thing pop on the screen. I like to hear the sound. That's like, for me, that's like a game within the game. And the fact that I can't get that, it diminishes my need to get a pirated version of a Nintendo Switch game. And if they put the Switch games on Steam, for example, I'd be stoked to go and buy those games. At least the ones that I'm interested on Switch, like for example Metroid. What else? The Fire Emblem games.
You
So
should
does
you should have a look
does
at
that make
Yeah, that makes sense. You should have a look at Lord Metroid's comment. I think it's good.
Lord Metroid, the last one?
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to keep up with everyone. I'm trying not to skip anyone. But
Okay,
all
okay.
right, let me skip to the bottom. Hold on.
No, whenever you get to it, that's fine. I could respond back to
Okay,
that.
because I'm seeing a lot of stuff, and I'm
Yeah,
trying to slowly see what's
yeah,
good and what's relevant, so we can discuss.
yeah. That's
But
fine.
yeah,
I get what you mean by like like I think when it comes to accessibility, you can make an argument for piracy to some extent. I think it's an easier argument to make because, well, let's say one thing: Nintendo doesn't want to put the games on PC, and we know why, because their ecosystem is what's important to them, right?
yes,
So yeah, so I think Nintendo is justified in saying that because if we put games on PC, it's gonna really hurt the console. But just to the point of like you can see where the problem lies, where someone's bringing out a game like a Mario Kart that's a 93 Metacritic, and people will say, "I don't care, that's too much money," but then they'll turn around for another game like it could be a Club Obscure, and they'll say, "Well, I'm willing to pay $90 for that, or $80 for that." And then someone like Nintendo turns around and says, "But wait, I don't understand this." But Nintendo has to deal with this too, because remember, Ubisoft did the same thing with Lost Crown. Lost Crown was a game that was highly rated, and it was a 2D Metrovania game, and Ubisoft charged $40 for it, and the game underperformed. The
yes, it
game
did.
the game had more content than Metroid Dread. The game took longer to complete, and Ubisoft was supporting the game more with updates and time missions and all these things. So Ubisoft invested more money into this game than what Nintendo did with Metroid Dread. But Nintendo sold Metroid Dread for $60, and people still said, "Yeah, I'll buy that."
Ty, you're making one big, or you're ignoring it on purpose. You're pretending like it's not real.
What is it? Tell me.
Metroid Dread. Who was the protagonist in Metroid Dread?
Samus.
It was Metroid.
Hmm.
We just got done talking about Witcher, where by the second season it wasn't about the freaking Witcher. It was a whole bunch of other things, but it still said Witcher on the box. Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, in my opinion, the biggest mistake they made was choosing their protagonist. That was a big, big mistake. And a lot of people might want to call it the racism and all this other stuff, but it's really not. Prince of Persia is that dude that looks, I don't know, is he Caucasian? Is he Arabic? Is he, I don't know, bro. It's that guy, right? It's not the dude that they put as the protagonist in Prince of Persia. That's the problem. When they make a Black Panther game, but instead of Black Panther, it's some other character uh, taking up the mantle or doing something else, and it's not T'Challa, bro. You're not gonna have a good time with the people that are interested in playing Black Panther. In my opinion, that's why that game underperformed, because gameplay wise, it was fine. The problem is a lot of people saw it and optics, and this is why I keep saying like everything is nuanced, bro. Nothing is ever just, oh, it's simple, just put the money here and it'll work out. No, you put the money there, sure, you put a lot of money into that game, but then you didn't put Prince of Persia as the protagonist. what's going to happen? A lot of people are just going to check out, regardless of whether you agree with their politics or whatever. Bro, when you're trying to sell a product, you're not trying to have a debate with your customer. You're trying to get money from them. If you want to sit there and have a debate with your customer, they're going to go to someone that just wants to stroke their ego, their nostalgia, their like everything for them. That's what the customer is going to do because the customer had a rough day at work, just wants to sit down and unwind. You want to sit here and tell the customer, no, you don't just get to unwind. I need to just give me a minute to unpack why you should like this character, even though you think you know what Prince of Persia. Let me tell you what Prince of Persia is, bro. Most people aren't trying to hear that, Ty. And in the end, you get what you get with the Lost Crown.
So we're gonna have a strong disagreement there, but we don't need to dwell on Prince of Persia too much. Just
No,
because
let's get into it. Let's
the
get
main
into
reason
it.
why people don't like people didn't buy the game is because they thought the price tag was too much. Like the
I,
main pull from people that I've spoken to is they're like, yeah, I mean, 2D Metrovania kind of game looks very indie like. $45. Ugh. Like it was a price tag. It had nothing to do with really the looks of the character.
and what I'm trying to say is, it's a good thing you brought the example of Metroid. Metroid is also a 2D game that you could put right next to Prince of Persia and
Hmm.
show how Prince of Persia is graphically superior.
Hmm.
But what happens is these are two very recognizable brands. One brand is leading with their best foot forward, saying, "Here's Samus, go and play as Samus." The other games, like Prince of Persia, it's just the logo. You just get the logo. You don't actually get the Prince of Persia. What do you think is going to happen? That was a rhetorical question, Ty.
People are not gonna purchase it.
Simple as. And thank you for bringing up Metroid, which is a very good example to put right next to it.
Hmm.
These are two legendary franchise. Legendary. There's no more. I would say 60% of gamers know who Metroid is. 60% of gamers know who Prince of Persia is. But only one of them gave you the character on the box. I think that was the problem.
No, I think there's actually multiple problems with this one. The first one is that the Prince of Persia, the Metrovania ones, they were never like the biggest popular games, right? You know, that's very old school. What made Prince of Persia, what the fans recognize, like me, is Sands of Time, Warrior Within, the 3D running around the world, which are, avoiding traps, running against the walls. This is what the fans wanted. So
That's
when the
the
trailer
gameplay.
yeah, but
What
that's what
about
I'm
the
saying.
protagonist?
This is why. Because when the trailer came out, people were like, Ubisoft, we're asking you for a Splinter Cell and Prince of Persia game, not this 2D remake. And everyone said the
That's
same
not
thing.
true, Ty.
This is true.
That's not
This is
the,
very true.
the reactions I saw was people dogging on that hip hop the hip hop soundtrack, the Wakanda haircut style. That's what I saw from everyone. That's what I saw from almost everyone reacting to that game. It wasn't about the it's 2D because most people know that it came from 2D, and what they were mostly ragging about was not it being 2D. People were ragging about the character and the hip hop vibe. They were like, this is not Prince of Persia. And I agree because I played a couple of those Prince of Persias on the 360. If they had made it 2D and they put that dude that looked like he was, I don't know, Arabian or something, I think that game would have been way more successful, in my opinion. But I guess on this one we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, sure. We can. Yeah, we can definitely agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah. Fuzzy's asking why I hate Jalen Hurts. I think he's overrated. I'm not a fan of the Jets. I don't like his demeanor. Yeah, man. And then clowns likes him, so that makes me hate him even more. Yeah, pretty much. Seawolf says, "Look, graphics are the yoga pants of gaming." I disagree. I would say graphics are the appearance of gaming. So if you're an ass guy, graphics is a woman with a fat bottom. If you're a chest guy, it's a woman with a great rack. Or if you like a good mix, that essentially graphics are the looks. Gameplay is she a good person? Is she nice to you? How does she react when you try and correct her, etc., etc.? That's gameplay. That's what's inside. But what's outside matters. Let's not lie to ourselves, guys. Let's not, please. Richie says, "I would pirate your game if I want to play your game but hate your guts." God damn, Richie. All right. All right. Aussie fan says, "Jalen is a good quarterback. I hope Kelly Moore can bring one of our young quarterback that far." We'll see. We'll see. But for now, Aussie fan, we're focusing on the NBA playoffs. It's conference finals times, ladies and gentlemen. I have the Pacers beating the Knicks, and I think OKC beats the Timberwolves, in my opinion. All right. Lord Metroid said, "Wait for sale, price drop. No one is forcing us to buy anything. If you have FOMO, that's your own. That's your damn fault as a gamer in general." Is that the comment that you were mentioning, Ty?
Say it again.
Lord Metroid said, "Wait for sale,
Yes, yes.
price drop. No one is forcing us to buy anything. If you have FOMO, that's your damn fault as a gamer in general." Is that it?
Yeah, it is. It's this entitlement of like, well, if you're gonna charge this high price, I'm just gonna steal your product instead of just saying, I just wait for sale. I'll just buy it somewhere else where it's cheaper. Like that should be the normal reaction for anybody. But the idea that like, well, I'm gonna steal it now, like okay, like really, like is that really it? Like I don't like what you're charging me, so I'm gonna steal the product. I don't like the fact that like Teslas are this expensive. I'm just gonna go take it. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's so silly. It's such an entitlement. Like it's like being a thief. Except, well, I feel like I can get away with it. I'm just gonna do it.
No, it's not right. It's not right. But I would say the issue is not pricing. I would say the real issue is availability. I think, like Ono it's Alex would say, Nintendo games need to be on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. PlayStation games need to be on Nintendo, PC, and Xbox. Xbox games are already everywhere.
Yeah,
Actually, no,
but why
no.
do they need to be
Xbox
everywhere?
Xbox needs to put their games on Nintendo as well
No, but why does Nintendo need to put their games on Xbox and PlayStation? I don't understand.
because it's detrimental to the customer by them locking their games away on Nintendo, because now the customer is put in a situation where they have to go buy a Switch to play a game.
Okay. Okay.
I
All right.
think you should let your system speak for itself, and then people will go out and buy it. Like me, for example, the Xbox doesn't really have exclusives anymore, right?
Mhm.
But this new partnership with Asus, it's got me curious. It's got me curious. I would probably, well, we'll see. But I'm thinking about buying that console because there's value in it, not just from the Xbox quote unquote exclusives, but the value I would get with the system itself, with being able to play PC games, etc., etc. But I don't see the value in a Switch 2, for example, because if I got a Switch
Let me play
2,
devil's advocate on that point.
okay,
Do you think Netflix should put their content on Disney and Disney should put their content on Netflix?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, because the customer wants to watch Andor. it's your goal, right? In a fair market, in my opinion, is for you to provide the best place to watch Andor, not to provide the only place to watch Andor. Because you can have a shit game. Sorry, you can have a great game, but if your platform is crap, now I'm suffering as a customer. And I'll give you a very good example. Dead Island 2 was on Epic Games. It was exclusive to Epic Games for a year, I think, or more than a year. Right? These are just two specific PC places. Right? No console, no nothing. But here we are. Here we are. We have a situation where people are locking content away. Um, that actually screwed Dead Island 2. The sales hugely underperformed. Obviously, they got the bag from Epic Games, but almost no one bought the game on PC. And then, when the exclusivity ended, people started buying it on GOG and on Steam. Generally speaking, I don't think the best value for the customer is locking content away. I think you want to have, like, exclusive things should be like quick resume, for example, on Xbox. That's what should be exclusive. Or even a situation where, hey man, you want to play Stellar Blade on PlayStation, you pay $60. You wanna play it on Xbox, that's $80. I think even that type of competition would be better, because we're still like now looking at benefits of specific platforms. Then Xbox, like, okay, well, now Stellar Blade's on Game Pass. Do you know what I mean? As a customer, the only people, or the only entities that win from this situation that you're talking about with Nintendo is the companies. And I will personally never advocate for the benefit of a corporation. I will always think about me and my fellow gamer. That's who my priority is.
Okay. I can, yeah, I can agree with that. Most of that anyway. I would say
Yeah.
that something else that can be considered is, um, when it comes to putting in like exclusive content in certain places, um, Netflix, or let's say even Epic Games, might not be incentivized to sponsor a game if they know that game is going to be mostly bought on another platform. So the reason why Epic might sponsor a game and invest a lot of money in that game is because if you think about it, let's say Remedy with Alan Wake 2, they clearly had talks with Microsoft, PlayStation, and maybe different platform holders as well to get some kind of investment. And clearly, it's probably more than likely that Epic offered them the best deal in terms of creative choices, in terms of finance, in terms of marketing. So, in order for them to reach their own vision, they signed a deal with Epic. Now, Steam could have came in and said, "Well, we'll help you," but Steam was like, "We don't give a shit. Like, we don't care."
It
You know.
seems like, dude, you're gonna make money anyway. We're the biggest marketplace, and people are psyched to play it. Like I said, dude, and they made the money, right? They made the money back regardless. Remember when Dead Island 2 came out on Steam? It made a ton of money. It was in the top 10 for sales for like a month when Dead Island 2 had its like second reveal or launch on Steam. So either way, they still won, right? Because they got the big check, and when they went to Steam, they still made the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, the customer got screwed, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I can agree to from a consumer point of view, I can accept certain arguments there, but again, I also understand why a company like PlayStation wants to keep the games on their platforms, because even though the consumer might get hurt, as you say, they want to make money, so they want to keep all that ecosystem,
No
keep all
doubt.
this in the ecosystem.
No
That
doubt.
30% cut is important. But I mean, I get you. I'm not really arguing
Yeah.
against that. I
They,
think
they, they
30%
have,
is better.
they have the responsibility to what is it, to make their own money, You know what I mean? To make moves that'll make them more money. They have the fiduciary responsibility, no doubt. But we as customers also have the responsibility to look after our pockets, bro.
Yeah, true.
It's a game of tug and pull. That's essentially what it is. Seawolf says, "I like how they make Doom access. Like how they make Doom accessible to the bots. Made it easier. The new Doom is not having great numbers on PC, but PC is the future." Tai, I saw someone. Well, actually, not someone. It was Jez. It was Jez. He made an article essentially questioning and positing maybe Doom. Maybe the low numbers on Doom is because Game Pass is actually doing damage.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the
Do
factors.
you think that's real? Do you think a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna get this on Game Pass?
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. I believe that Doom sales are affected by Game Pass. I think the question is, how much of Game Pass is taken away from Doom sales, and I don't know that number. I don't know if it's a 10%, like in terms of the losses, if it's 10%, 15, 17, 18, whatever it may be. But 100% Game Pass is taking away sales, like facts.
All right, all right. Fuzzy says the Black Panther Captain America game just got delayed. Isn't using T'Challa. I think it's his father, which also makes sense. Even in the comic books, even in the comic books, his father was the one who was with Captain America in the 40s. You see, these are the type of swaps, right? And I don't want to get too political. But Ty, these are the kind of swaps that get people hyped because they make sense to people that read the comics and even to people that hadn't read the comics. Because if you remember, even in the movie, his father was the Black Panther before him. Remember?
Hmm.
So now, if the new EA game that is Black Panther, Captain America, if it comes out that no, T'Challa is not the protagonist, it's T'Challa's father who's the protagonist, you will get nothing in
True.
terms of complaints from people. Nothing. Everyone just will be like, all right, when's it coming out? But Tai, if Captain America, Black Panther, has Shuri or Shuri's aunt as Black Panther in 1945, do you think it's going to be like a kumbaya situation?
No, you're gonna lose out on sales for sure.
I just, I just don't understand why the need, why the thirst to antagonize fans. Like if I had 100 million and I was making a movie, a video game, a TV show, why am I trying to piss off the people that I'm selling it to? I will never understand this mentality.
I agree.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Rachie says, "Nah, look, the customer's angry. Where's the Prince of Persia remake? It's been years." That is true. That is true. People are very annoyed about that remake. It's on ice. It's on ice, I think. Remake Station says people are just not into platform, especially difficult ones. That is also true because even Metroid did not sell crazy numbers, except Metroid sold pretty well considering how much they put into it. It sold well. So, yeah, what I would say is that platformers, 2D platformers are like racing games. They are not, they used to be the mainstay in gaming. Now they're like a little niche subgenre, but it's not one of those situations where it's like, oh no, we should, like, these games will always fail because of their genre. Do you agree, Ty? Or do you think that 2D gaming is dead?
No, it definitely isn't that. I just think you need to kind of keep the budget and scope. I know we spoke about. I think it might be you or Ushers who said like some of these kind of niche games we need to make them into AAA, and the answer is no, we don't, because a lot of these games are just meant for a very small audience, right? So games like Pillars of Eternity, or CRPG games, they don't need 200, 300 million pound budgets, because that's probably gonna like destroy the game itself. As long as you know your genre and you know the the cost of development, and you can match that with what your expected sales are, then you always be in a good position. Atomic not atomic atomic fall atom fall, sorry,
Atomfall.
by what's the studio's name again?
Ah man,
Republic.
I downloaded that game. I had it downloaded on my Xbox for
Oh,
like a month, bro. Like
you
when
didn't
it came
even play
out,
it.
I downloaded it. I still haven't played it.
Still haven't played it.
Oh man,
But
tragic.
the studio name is Rebellion, and the CEO, he speaks a lot about how they're able to stay in business, and he's just very smart. He's like, yeah, we gauge our expected sales very well, and we know exactly what we can do. If the games budget is getting too high, we say nope, we need to kind of tone things down, and
Yeah,
that's how they've been successful. Even Atom Fall is a game that doesn't have a 90
smaller.
Metacritic. It's a small game. It's not some kind of
Hmm.
obscure kind of game, but they already said like, hey, we made money off this. So as long as you're gauging the your sales with the budget, you should always be fine, more or less. So
Yeah.
niche products, it's the exact same thing. If you know you're making a niche product, why would you get 200, 300 million pounds or
Why?
euros? Like, just doesn't make sense.
Why? And that also speaks to it. Also speaks to Prince of Persia, Ty.
Hmm.
How much did they put into Prince of Persia? You know what I mean?
A good amount, I
Like
imagine.
maybe they sold maybe they sold more or less what Metroid sold, but because they put too much money into it, it didn't change anything.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
Scope, guys. Remake Station says, well, Meat Boy was popular. Exactly. Meat Boy, low graphics, just like games like Vampire Survivors, etc. How much was Meat Boy uh like at launch? I bet you it wasn't $70. I bet you Meat Boy was not $70 day one. I'm pretty sure. Fuzzy says I'm a Browns fan, so I'd like for a QB as good as Hurts. LOL. Yeah, yeah. If you're a Browns fan, you're in trouble. Dairies, he says, when is the next Hellblade 2 stream, Loke? I'm thinking tomorrow. Like I said earlier, we had a loss in the family. We had a death in the family, and I already have I already have a flight scheduled for Wednesday. So yeah, I'm thinking tomorrow. I'm thinking tomorrow if I'm feeling better, if I'm in higher spirits. I'm thinking tomorrow, and considering that I won't be able to stream after I travel, it might be a good idea for me to just. I might finish it tomorrow. I might try and finish it tomorrow. I might. Remake Station says OKC Knicks series could be fun. Oh my. Elbows everywhere. Can you imagine the fights that you would see in the OKC? Actually, no. Timberwolves Knicks would be very feisty. Be very feisty. Fuzzy. I saw the Fever versus Sky situation. I didn't watch the whole game, but I saw the scuffles and whatever and the pushing and the bitching. Hey man, the WNBA has they now have one specific match that even NBA fans will watch, even if it's just highlights. So I think that's a dub for the WNBA. Now they need to find a way to extrapolate that and move it league wide, like how the NBA did with Bird and Magic. They found a way to stretch it out to the rest of the league. WNBA needs to figure that out. Reezy says, and don't forget, protect the family jewels. Choosing the yoga pants is key, always, always, friend, always. Yes, Lord Metroid, you can always wait instead of pre-ordering game. You can always do that. Lord Metroid says Nintendo will never let their games be on Xbox or PlayStation for that matter. They have legacy IPs you have to spend on their wall garden. Ty, do you think Nintendo will never put their games on PlayStation or Xbox?
No, I wouldn't say never. Eventually, like, here's how things are going to go down. When the hardware becomes less important, it's gonna be about the software. So what Nintendo will pivot to is what pretty much Microsoft is pivoting to, which is an application. So Nintendo might get into cloud, and you can have a Nintendo app on your TV, then you'll be able to download the Nintendo games and play from there. So I think that'll probably be like what they will prefer to happen as opposed to putting the games on Xbox or PlayStation or on Steam. If the Steam situation still happens in the sense that once everything is an application, there's still users who refuse to leave Steam, that refuse to leave Xbox and PlayStation, regardless of everything being an application. Then you might see Nintendo put their games on other platforms, because the truth is you have to remember Nintendo is a corporation. They are a public listed company. You if it doesn't make sense financially, you can convince the shareholders to that this is the best play. They will get you out as a CEO, and they'll put somebody else in play who can execute the plans that they want. It's going to be really the reason why the Switch can do like what they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do is because they're able to sell 150 million consoles in their walled garden, and derive revenue from that 30%. As soon as you can sell 100, 80, 70, 60, 50 million consoles, if you're doing GameCube or Wii U numbers, you will have to go multi-platform. End of story.
Whew. I'm high key awaiting that day. No doubt. I can't wait for that day. Dare Easy, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says Loke is cooking today. Must be the yoga pants. Listen, the way you guys keep talking about these yoga pants, I might just buy me some yoga pants. I might just buy me some yoga pants and come on the stream with yoga pants. But yeah, thank you for the $2, Dare Easy. Appreciate that. All right, Ty. We have to get into the modern warfare situation. So this is from VGC. They're the ones who we're getting this sourced from, just in case anyone's wondering. Hold on, let me just pull this up real quick. There we go. A year after release, Activision is winding down Call of Duty Warzone Mobile. Released in March 2024, the iOS and Android game is released in March 2024. The iOS and Android game is co-developed by Activision's Shanghai Beenox Digital Legends and Solid State Studios, and supports shared progression with the console and PC versions of Warzone. It's Call of Duty's second mobile game after 2019's Call of Duty Mobile, which is developed by Teamy Studio and continues to be supported. In a statement published on Friday, Activision said it has decided to end support for Warzone Mobile because it has, quote, not met our expectations with mobile first players like it has with PC and console audiences. Effective immediately, players will no longer be able to purchase digital currency, and no further seasonal content will be released for Warzone Mobile. From Sunday, May 18th, that was yesterday, the game will no longer be available to download from stores. Players who have the game installed before this date will be able to continue to play online matches. However, quote, going forward, we will be streamlining the scope of the game. The statement reads, this decision was made after careful consideration of various factors. And while we're proud of the accomplishment in bringing Call of Duty Warzone to mobile in an authentic way, it unfortunately has not met our expectations with mobile first players like it has with PC and console audiences. We know that this news may be disappointing, and we truly appreciate the support, passion, feedback, and dedication from our community. We have special incentives for Call of Duty Warzone Mobile players in Call of Duty Mobile and encourage our players to try it for free. So essentially, Warzone is done. Mobile continues. Tai, what are your initial thoughts on this one?
I think this is a bit of a it's a bit of a blow somewhat, right? Because Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard King in order to expand into mobile games, and the
That's
fact
what
that
we heard.
mhm. and the fact that you're canceling especially like a brand name such as Call of Duty, Warzone, that might spell, I don't want to say problems, but it's definitely some kind of setback. However, I think it's not too bad, and there's a lot of good here still, right? Um, Call of Duty, the mobile game, is the biggest hit that they have. Among other things, I think it has over like 600 to 700 million downloads, and it makes a lot of money. Sorry, no, I think it has over a billion downloads actually. Yeah, sorry, my bad. It
Over a
has over
billion.
like a billion downloads. So that is where the money is. And that game itself, apart from just having, the typical multiplayer, it has its own battle royale mode as well. So when Warzone came out, they wanted to actually migrate people from Call of Duty Mobile who were playing the battle royale to Warzone, and some people did, they offer things like perks and extra things to kind of get people to kind of jump ship. However, they didn't really like it because the Call of Duty app just made more sense. It was more fun. It was better. It was also better optimized, I believe. I think Warzone wasn't as optimized, and it has some problems here and there. The app is still good. It's just that as far as Microsoft or Activision Blizzard is concerned, when you have one app doing 1 billion downloads and the other one is like, I think, 67% not making the same 67% less revenue, the question is, do we reallocate our resources somewhere else? And everyone who's playing battle royale on Warzone is going to just move back to the Call of Duty app anyway, so we're not really
Which
losing
is
anything.
mobile.
Yeah, which is the mobile one, so we're not really losing anything. And in fact, we're probably saving cost, and now we can reallocate those resources into something else. Um, there's nothing to say that they won't even add a new Call of Duty Warzone map in the game. I haven't played the games. I'm not too sure if it's there or not. I don't think it's there, but they might actually add the Warzone map in it. And also, I think what's important here is that it was a different studio that was called Teamy Studios that made the Call of Duty. So this is by Tencent that made the Call of Duty um, mobile app, right? Whereas I think Warzone was made by a different team. So you might look at that team and
Yeah,
say,
it
like, you know
was.
what, like, yeah, y'all are cool, but I think when it comes to Call of Duty, we're gonna give it to these guys again to make it the Tencent guys. So is it a bad look? Yes or no? Not really. Um, it's not a bad look because the money's still there, and I think this is kind of what we want. We want them to cancel products that aren't successful. We don't want red falls. We don't want them
And
to,
double down on the good stuff.
and yeah, double down the good stuff for sure. So I don't think this is an issue. But I have been a bit critical of their mobile ventures, not because I don't like it, but because I haven't seen enough of it, and I think there's so much opportunity there. There's so many IPs and products that they could push out. Like, is there a Tony Hawk mobile game? Like, to me, that just seems like an obvious thing to
Oh
do,
man, it's an
but
easy dub.
they haven't done it. So these are the kind of questions
Because it's
I'm asking.
Xbox, right? I mean,
Mhm.
all they had to do was not increase the price of the games, also. But it's Xbox,
Mhm.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, you're last in the race. Everyone is like, you know what? At least Xbox not increasing their prices. And then what do you do? What do you do? So
I
yeah,
think you have a take on
uh,
that, but that would be a different discussion.
oh, well, we could get into it, but first, I just want to agree with you on this one.
Hmm.
Definitely. When I first saw the headline, I'm not going to lie, I was like, "Ooh, this looks terrible.
Hmm.
This looks terrible." Because this is what, like you said, everyone's like they're buying Activision for mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, and Candy Crush and King, etc. But as I read the article, I was like, wait a minute, this is not news. This is just them streamlining. That's all they're doing. Because effectively, they had Call of Duty Mobile and Call of Duty Warzone. They were like, guys, one of these needs to go because it makes no sense. For me, I completely like this is a nothing burger. I should have read the article before, I guess. But I like to do live reactions. And yeah, man. I'm completely with you on this one, Ty. This is a nothing burger. They will be perfectly fine. Rachie says, Lok 7, new name is High Lord Spandex. I swear, Rachie, if you guys keep talking about these yoga pants, I'll buy one and wear it for the stream. You guys keep provoking me there. But Ty, you were saying earlier that you had a take on Xbox increasing their prices or not increasing.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Xbox increasing the prices to what they are right now is obviously a mixture of tariffs and maybe inflation and parts being hard to find, etc., etc., etc. However, it's also just a mixture, just a mixture of what we've been losing money on these consoles, and yeah, we don't want to lose money on these consoles anymore. Like screw everyone, screw these consumers, screw everyone who should be losing money
Why
on
treat
this.
the customer this way? Because fuck them. That's why. The
Exactly.
Dave Chappelle meme.
And I think Phil Spencer said it on in the FTC case that like Microsoft don't make money on the Xbox consoles; they actually lose money. So in a industry where, um, put it this way, if you wanted an Xbox console at some point, you got it. That is just a fact, right? You purchased it. If you haven't got one now, it's because you just don't really care that much about it, right? And what might be happening here is that the people left who are just buying it now, they might be individuals who Xbox doesn't really see as high value consumers. They might be the guys who have purchased the Xbox console and they might
Yeah.
buy maybe one or two games here and there. And the problem is, normally when you sell these consoles, you need multiple games from that user to make it profitable.
What
There's a
about Game
market.
Pass? What about
They,
Game Pass?
they might be doing
Because
game.
I would assume, maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah,
I would assume that we're at a situation now where it's like 80% of people that have an Xbox are paying for Game Pass.
true. But the issue here may be that those Game Pass subscribers have probably fallen short and they've probably realized that these people are actually not signing up to Game Pass. They might just be buying maybe one or two games, it might be your Fortnite, it might be whatever it is. But let's keep this really in check. Like like apparently Microsoft loses like 100 to $200 on these consoles. Let's say on the high end is $200, right? That means somebody
Yeah.
would have to buy multiple games for that to make sense to them. And the truth is, they don't even care about these multiple games anymore because, as far as they're concerned, you can go over to PlayStation, right? We'll take the 30% hit over there, and we know that we're going to get the 70% of all those users, and that's probably an attractive, a far more attractive offer to them than anything else. So if it wasn't, you wouldn't see them give PlayStation Doom exclusive trailers because as far as they are concerned now, the console is a liability. It's a problem.
Not a liability.
It's a
It,
liability in
it's
the
it,
sense that it's out there in the stores and it's a product that loses 100 to $200. So like already they're already losing money. So for every time an Xbox console is made, they've lost money. So to them, it's like, well, how about this? We just reduce the amount of consoles we're making, and that way we don't lose that much money. And you know what, guys? It seems like anybody who wanted a console before actually got one already. And the people who are left over, you know what? Tough luck. If you want the console, you're
God
going to
damn.
have to you're going to have to pay the actual price of the console, because we're not taking a loss on this shit anymore. You had 4 or 5 years to do it. You didn't do it, and now it's too late. But the truth is, we don't expect you to actually buy this console. We don't think you will anyway, because you guys weren't in the first place. So I don't think there's any real major loss here. There's no one out there who was like, I was going to buy an Xbox, but now I'm going to buy a PlayStation because it's cheaper. Because they know Sony's going to increase their price as well. And when Sony increases their prices too, then it's all the same again.
Man, that you did not paint a very optimistic picture for me.
No, for sure. Like because the thing I can't remember is like these guys they run the numbers. They run the numbers every.
Ty, Ty.
No,
Who needs Oshas when Ty is here?
I mean, you can say in a pony if you want, but these are all like truths. Like, these guys, they run the numbers, and the number
Uh,
says increase the price now because it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Here's the thing, right? They could sell 10 consoles at a loss,
yeah,
right? And they need all those 10 people to engage with the ecosystem to make back that money at some point. That might be 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, whatever it is. They're wagering that if we increase the price, we don't sell 10 consoles this year. Instead, we sell maybe like 4 or 5. But as soon as those 4 is bought, what it means is we're in profit already. Good evening, Ham.
welcome
Yo,
in, Ham. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
You got some thoughts on this one? Go ahead.
Oh, I have no idea what you guys are even talking about.
Ty is telling us why he thinks the Xbox, the console, sorry, the price of the Xbox console went up, and why it's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine to Microsoft. And even to the consumers, I don't really know like how many people are buying Xboxes.
Why is it fine for the consumers? No, Ty, you right now you're saying it for the company, and this makes sense. Why is it fine for the consumer?
When I say consumers, I mean like I don't think there's a major loss that's happening here. I don't think people are buying Xboxes in the same way that they're buying. Well, we already know this. They're not buying Xboxes the same way they're buying PlayStations. So the point here that I think is important is, do I know anybody who's buying an Xbox? No, I actually do not. I know people who've sold their Xboxes, right? And if you haven't gotten an Xbox right now, you probably just weren't going to get one. You probably just didn't really care about it that much. You don't care about the platform. You don't care about the ecosystem. You're probably a very casual gamer. And the truth is, if you're casual, you're probably going towards PlayStation anyway. So I don't think this is really affecting as
Well,
much.
yeah, I mean, I feel like you could say the same thing about like a person buying a PS5 at this point, right?
No, because I think PlayStation is a de facto console that people want to purchase. So when people want to play GTA, they're looking for PlayStation. Like I know girls who
I don't
don't care
think
about
that's
football.
true. I think people are
Really.
just looking to. I mean, you could use EA college football as a great example. Series S went crazy when when EA dropped the new college football game. People just want access.
Okay. Okay. I think we agree that PlayStation is a de facto console that people gravitate towards, right?
Sure, it's the most popular one.
Most popular one,
I
right?
mean, that's easy.
hmm There will be some share given to consoles that are cheaper, like the Xbox Series S. This is true as well. However, for these people, I don't know if Microsoft even sees them as valuable customers, because if you're just buying an Xbox Series S to play the next gen version of GTA or college football, there's something there. But the question is, if you're buying these consoles at a $200 euro pound loss already, then it means that we got to make up those sales in some way somehow. And when you buy a Baldur's Gate 3 on our platform for $70, we're only getting a 30% cut. So now it's instead of minus 200, it's just minus 180. Then you got to buy another game. Now it's minus again. And the question is, how many games and how many transactions must that individual make for it to become finally profitable? And they're looking at it saying that, you know what, screw that process. How about we just make the price what the actual cost of the system is? So when Ham buys it, automatically we're in a profit. And we think this way we actually make more money off the consoles than this other way, which we believe we're actually going to lose more money. Does that make sense?
No, I mean, obviously, raising a price of an item when you're selling it, the point is to gain more profit off of it. I think we all know that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So with what they're doing, if you're asking whether it's right or wrong, I mean, for the consumer, it's wrong. For the company, it's right. It always is that way, right? Whenever the price raises, it's good for the company, bad for the consumer, right? It could be good for the consumer long term if you're looking at like what they could do with that said extra money, or what what they could be possibly doing. But I mean, as for like it, I guess I'm kind of confused on what the endpoint we're trying to get to is.
I think the end point is they actually want to phase out consoles. I think they don't want to participate in consoles like they used to, and they want probably Lenovo, all these other guys, Asus, to start making consoles for them from the OEM point of view. But right now they're looking at the console market as this is already we've
I
reached a
think
peak.
that's incorrect. I think that's incorrect. I mean, because if you just look at their business throughout everything that they've done, they've usually always, I don't remember when they didn't, but they give access to use their products on their own, but then they also give others access to use their products as well. I mean, you can see that with Windows and many other products that they have. Their software is what gets them out the door, because they're a software company, but they usually have some sort of hardware to always go with that software that they get. I mean, you can look at, I mean, we've had this conversation, I don't know how many times.
Yep.
I mean, Amazon does the exact same thing. And a lot of people say, oh man, the Amazon products are terrible or whatnot, but they give you an option to use it if you don't want to use any other third-party products. So I don't think they're phasing out. I think maybe they are lowering the output on it due to the different amount of ways that they can give out access. But I don't think that they're just going to outright stop, because they're leaving behind a massive base. Whether it's as big as PlayStation or Nintendo has nothing to do with it. It's still a massive base of people that like to use their products with only their hardware. So I don't think they're getting away from that. I just think they're opening up access for other people to be able to do things, which may seem bad, but at the same time, if you look at Microsoft and their history, it's pretty well documented that they do that.
So I'll agree with we're pretty much out of that. So let me not say phasing out the console. I think what they're doing is that they're seeing how things works out and how things goes. So the next Xbox, we already know
I can agree with that.
they're making a next gen Xbox, and they're trying to compete from a system point of view as opposed to like the gaming front, right? So when that next Xbox comes out, I think what they're gonna do here is they're gonna assess and see, hey, how many of these consoles are we selling? And if we sell a good amount, you know what, we might just kind of pinpoint and focus on this particular fan base and the Game Pass subscribers who want to play on a console, right? And what they'll do is as well, they'll get their Lenovo's and their, maybe the Tencents and all these other manufacturers like Samsung, just start making the product for them. Not for them, but they'll make the product, and there'll be Windows on it as well, right? So now you have multiple different Xboxes in the ecosystem that people can kind of purchase and buy. And because they're competing now on the hardware front, not gaming, it's hardware. And because you have Lenovo making their version, you have Asus making a version for them, you have all these companies making their version. If the actual Microsoft version isn't actually as good as the Samsung version or Asus version, then you can see Microsoft say, you know what, guys, we're bowing out now. But guess what? We've created a situation where you now have a diverse range of Xbox consoles. There you go. Now you're winning. Now it's not a case of a Series S, Series X.
Oh, 100%. It's just like that's the same route that 3DO tried to take, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were not prepared and did not have near the IP to be able to withstand that storm,
Mm-hmm.
or the checkbook, right? They didn't have none of those things, and they were the most expensive console at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, all in agreements, pretty much. I don't know if there's a disagreement per se. I guess I'll take back the fact that they're trying to get away from the console. I think it will eventually lead there because the numbers will just eventually say it doesn't make sense for this to be.
I think that's the plan, though, right? I think
to
that's the
eventually
plan, though,
integrate.
is to and I'm not saying this as a cheerleader. I'm saying this more or less as just like common sense kind of tells me this.
Mm-hmm.
That they're trying to hang out and do consoles until consoles are no longer really a viable option.
Mm-hmm.
So like if like PlayStation or Nintendo may be the last one standing, but by the time they are the last one standing, it won't really matter.
Yeah, no. I think that's the plan as well. I think they're just trying to I don't want to say phase out in a bad way, but like they're trying to like, just play the game, and eventually they think it will be phased out. They probably have a plan. Like they already have this on like, on the docker somewhere. They're like, yeah, consoles won't really be a thing. It'll be a very, very niche product, and we will make some of these products, but at the same time, we're gonna get all these other manufacturers to participate. I wouldn't be don't be surprised if for every Samsung Xbox or Lenovo Xbox that gets sold, Samsung gets a cut of like 2%, 3%. And we know they did this with GameStop, where they said if you sell an Xbox and you sell like this plan right here, we'll give you a percentage. And this was supposed to incentivize GameStop to push their employees to sell an Xbox as opposed to a PlayStation, because now you guys can actually participate in the digital storefront, which you could never participate in, right? So like Microsoft already has all these templates down. They just need to execute it pretty well.
I don't think what you're saying is too crazy, though. I mean, like, honestly, if I were just to look at this and say, yo, if Xbox could convince everybody just to kind of merge on over to PC for whatever reason, they'd stop right now. They'd stop right now, because then they got exactly the whole point of that documentary about how Xbox was made was because the PC environment got entangled with consoles. So if they can get everybody back to PC, back to the Windows, Windows Store and all that stuff, they do that in a heartbeat, because then they wouldn't have to deal with the manufacturing of consoles and stuff like that. But seeing that they have way too many people indebted, or not really indebted, but entrenched, I think is a better word, entrenched in their, including people like myself, entrenched into their ecosystem, they don't want to make such a sudden move, but they do want to kind of build that bridge that will inevitably lead you to that route that they want you to be on.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Damn. Now we're talking about the death of consoles. Jeez, this got dark quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it'll have to happen at some point. It just if technology just gets that good, like it just doesn't make sense, to have that device that costs $550.
The more versatile phones and other mobile equipment gets, the worse it is for console. Everyone's looking at the enemy being Xbox or the enemy being Nintendo. The real enemy is strictly just innovation.
Say that again, please.
I said people are looking like over their shoulders at like Xbox or Nintendo or PlayStation as being enemies of each other, but the real enemy is innovation. Mm-hmm. The more you innovate, the more you keep these, the more you get these things to be mobile devices to just kind of go around, and the more that they're linking and talking to each other, the worse it is. Except the worse it is for the person that doesn't really control all of that. So, like, especially seeing that PCs kind of end up. I mean, PC is how you make a game in the first place. Mm-hmm. So where do you think everything's going to head off to? Like the best thing, the one thing that could happen that could be explosive is like if Linux gets bigger and starts to rival Microsoft in some sort of way, or some other, like, or Apple or whatever. I mean, they've always said that's their real competition. And now, in the further we get into this generation, the more truth that becomes, where it's just like, okay, well, these are like different echelons of competition.
Mhm.
And it's not that that Xbox beat PlayStation and they're heading on to bigger and better things. They're not, obviously. They never really beat PlayStation per se.
Yeah, they lost.
But one thing that they've always had over PlayStation is just the understanding and willing to, be passive with their software. And that some of those passive friendships have became fairly large, to the point that they're getting money from the people that they say they're competing versus, which is weird. It's really weird, but I don't know, man. I really totally think that the problem is growing right in our face. It's innovation. The easier things are to access, the less of a point one thing really means.
Yeah, because obviously, like, it's that idea of like accessibility. Netflix is as big as it is because it's everywhere. I remember thinking, HBO, it wasn't in Ireland at the time, and I was looking to subscribe to it, and it was like, nope, sorry, it's not available in your country. And I'm like, that's so stupid. I want to give you money, and you're telling me no. Like, okay,
Yeah.
bro, you know what I mean? So as soon as you become, it's not about a device, and you can put your content anywhere. You will make more money because now you're going to the users as opposed to, like, making them come to you. Xbox consoles were down, but gaming revenue was up. And to them, that just makes a lot of sense now. The gaming consoles can just keep decreasing, but we're making more and more money. So we'll go on PlayStation, we'll go on Nintendo Switch, and in the future, the PC will be in the living room, and then we'll go there as well. And then when cloud gaming takes off, we're in the prime position, we're in the number one position to be the lead on that front. And if cloud does take off, then by default, we're everywhere. Like, that's it. And now the revenue is just exponentially going to increase, and the profit margins are going to be crazy. Like, this is the future that they envisage. Sony knows there's something there that could happen. Nintendo knows there's something there that could happen. If this future that Xbox thinks is going to happen does happen, it's going to be PlayStation and Nintendo that are going to be in somewhat trouble. However, I think Sony can probably transition well enough to that.
I heard a lot of ifs there. I cannot see a future where cloud gaming does not become the default. It feels like an inevitability.
It kind of does. And another one layer I just wanted to throw on before, because Loke, I want to hear what you had to say. But me, Cozy, and Matt were talking just last night about accessibility and stuff like that, about how segmented and people didn't really enjoy the way that you used to be able to, like, accumulate music, back in the day. So, you had iTunes, you had all these different, websites that wanted to sell you MP3s, singular and whatnot. And a lot of people were like, screw this. I'm just going to LimeWire, Morpheus, BearShare, whatever. I'm selling
And
the
put everything
17s
together.
through it, right?
Yeah.
But then as soon as they made Spotify,
That was
YouTube
it.
Music, stuff like that, it all of a sudden it's not cool to be stealing music again. It's not fun. It's not worth your time. Loke says this all the time about Netflix. Am I going to subscribe to that, or am I going to waste my time finding these things all over the place? No, it's much
With fucking
easier.
pop-ups and viruses.
Exactly. It's much easier
and
just to
cookies.
subscribe and press play.
Yeah.
And,
I'd
and-
rather
and-
just
and-
pay
and
Disney Plus and Hulu and Netflix and Paramount, and I'm done.
we were talking about this because we were talking about basketball and sports in general, just how it's so segmented. You'll get, your favorite teams over here. And if you get this subscription service, this subscription pass, you get all the, the best games, but you don't get your own, in-town team if they suck, right? You don't get that stuff. So then you have to get another service. And it's really the same thing as video games, right? If you can't get, I can't get Stellar Blade on Xbox. I got to get a PlayStation. I got to get an Xbox if I want to play Stalker 2. I got to get, a Nintendo if I want to play Mario Kart. But if they somehow put those things together, or at least, Microsoft has been putting this thought together a lot longer than those two other companies, because they definitely don't like to share profits whatsoever at all. But they're more or less just thinking like, yo, the more availability I get, the more profits. It's really that simple. People aren't going to be having to run. People aren't going to have to run to my corner when I drop something and make that decision whether they want to pick it up or not. They can just continue on with the shit that they already got and keep playing. It's not the most popular thing for those stern, fans that only like to see their shit over on a certain thing. But as for everybody as a whole, it's a good thing, because then everybody can take advantage of it. Everybody can go to Channel 3 and watch the same motherfucking game. It doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter what the brand of TV it is. Y'all going to Channel 3 and y'all watching this game.
Oh God, TV analogies. God damn it.
But you see what I'm saying?
It kind of works though. It kind of works. Ty, you think there's value in a situation where you have to buy a Samsung to watch specific shows, or you have to buy a LG TV to buy to watch a specific show? Would you be okay with that type of model?
Yeah, if they came out with a Breaking Bad remake only available on LG, would you go buy an LG?
Fuck?
No, there's no value there for consumers anyway. For the actual platform,
A
themselves,
lot.
there's
Oh yeah.
there's value there. But the question is, how important is that now? So, for example, before you couldn't get when you make these kind of decisions, there is a cost and benefit situation, right? So, is the trade off worth it? And Apple TV was exclusive to Apple devices. That made sense. They wanted to, if you like,
They tried to do that too.
Yeah,
they tried.
Now, at some point, you've gained all the Apple subscribers and the people who are willing to pivot from whatever, Android phones, to watch your content on Apple devices. Once you realize that that number has dried up, now you're just leaving money on the table. So Jay-Z did the exact same thing when he pulled his content from Spotify to put it onto his own streaming platform. What's it called again? Jay-Z streaming platform. You guys remember it?
Jay-Z has a streaming platform.
Yeah, he's a.
Was it like Rock Nation or something?
No, damn, Jay-Z.
Of course, Jay-Z has his own streaming
Platform.
platform. What are we doing?
Title.
Yeah, look, what kind of question is that?
Oh my
Tidal.
God.
So he took out his content from Tidal. I think even Dr. Dre did it as well. He took out his content and put it on Apple Music or whatever, to make more money, to attract those users to come to the platform. Now, Tidal, it gained subscribers, it did well, but there's a point where the subscribers stop. And now Spotify is looking at you saying, yo, we got like hundreds of millions of people here. If you put your content here, you'll be bringing in profit. And at that point, it becomes hard for Jay-Z to say no. And then what happened? He put his content back on Spotify. That's just it. So there's no win here for the consumer, really. But for the platforms, yes. And yeah, Lord Metroid, Tidal is the correct name. Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't know Jay-Z had his own streaming platform.
You should just assume.
Oh my God. So Ham, well, it's crazy though. Me and Ty agreed on something. Big surprise, but we actually agreed on something. So I'm sure you heard that Call of Duty Warzone is getting shut down.
Yeah, mobile.
No, Warzone Mobile is getting shut down, but Call of Duty Mobile is still going to be running.
Well, Call of Duty Mobile, but yeah, Mobile Warzone is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So before we saw the context, it kind of looked like newsworthy stuff, but after reading the article and seeing the context, we agree that this is essentially a nothing burger because, again, they essentially had two portals for people to engage with Call of Duty on mobile, and they've turned it into one portal. Do you agree that this is a nothing burger, or do you think this is a real issue?
I mean, I don't care about it, and I haven't really been seeing a whole lot of other people caring about it. So I'll say it's a nothing burger. I mean, the only people I've seen that mentioned it is like, I think I seen Tom Warren say something about it, and maybe Wario, but that's like usually when something's off-putting, like I can like scroll and see it like 3 times.
Yeah.
But like it takes a bit. Like I have to go to the search bar and type this shit in to find it. It's a nothing burger.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, is one of those very rare days where we all agree on the outcome of the main headline of the podcast. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like,
I would
I'm
have said,
scrolling right now. I see nothing. Like if it was like I seen more about Seth Rogen in Call of Duty than I'm seeing about this. It's a
and
nothing
Call
burger.
of Duty is one of the biggest franchises on the planet. So we can't even say it's because it's a small franchise. That's not even true. It's one of the biggest on the planet.
It's the same franchise.
Yeah, so it should be popping off if it's a biggie. But I think a lot of people read the article and realized this is just them streamlining Call of Duty Mobile. That's what we're getting, really. Ron Slasher says nothing burgers tastes good. Hey man, to each their own. To each their own. Before we hop on out of here, the Superman trailer came out last week. Ham, Ty, did you guys see it? Do you have any thoughts?
I actually didn't watch it. Which
What?
is, yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I was kind of. I think I've seen enough of it to know the vibe and what it's gonna be. So I didn't think watching it was gonna do anything else for me. It just
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. I don't want
more
to.
spoilers.
I don't want like I seen there was a new trailer and I was just like, okay, I seen like a couple little things and I was just like, man, I just want to see the movie. And I just kind of
Yeah, like I think like honestly the first trailer it captured the vibe it was going for. You know, the dog, the villains, just the suit, the outfit. Like this is one trailer where I felt like, you know what, I'm seeing this movie already. So at this point now, if you just show me anything extra, well, that's just a spoiler. Like I don't want to see anything else about this movie until I actually watch it. So I just kind of left it out. And somebody asked a question on Reddit, which was like, you know, which one are you more interested in watching? Fantastic Four. Like if you had to pick one, Fantastic Four or Superman. And for me, the answer was Superman because it looks different and unique. I think what makes Fantastic Four maybe really interesting is the fact that we know it's gonna be connected to the Avengers movies coming up, like Doomsday and all these things. That's actually the real catch right there. Whereas as a standalone, Superman it just looks amazing. You know, like it just looks great. So yeah, I'm actually excited to watch the Superman movie, and I think it will be, you know, just me spitballing, but I think it'll be genuinely better than the other Superman movies with Henry Cavill.
Oh, stop it. Stop
100%.
it. Oh my god. Ham, do you think it's going to be better than the Henry Cavill Superman movies?
I think it should be. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if he will outplay Henry Cavill as Superman, like in costume, but I think the writing and the movie itself is going to be better.
You know what I think?
I just really liked Henry Cavill in that suit. He looked that part so well.
Hell yeah.
And and this guy, it's not that he doesn't look the part very well. He looks like a very kind of classic kind of Superman in a way, right?
The younger version.
Right. But I feel like I don't know. For some reason, I just think James Gunn will knock it out of the park compared to like Snyder.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want this. Snyder is too much into like the
dark stuff.
Like, well, sure, on the dark. Like, I don't mind his dark stuff. I just think that he kind of over embellishes in kind of the negativity, and there's like no fun in it. It's just negative as fuck.
And Superman is Mr. Positivity, really.
Yeah, he's supposed to save the day and make you feel good. And there was like no point, really. Like when I watched the Man of Steel, I was ready for like that like cool moment of him being in Smallville and being the man. But he was never the man in that movie in Smallville. It was just like him in his house, and like it was just him going from one shitty situation to the next shitty situation to the next shitty situation. Then that's the end. And it's just like, damn, I'm not very inspired. I'm not very inspired at all. And Superman was made to be inspired.
Yeah. That was his purpose. I think Snyder was perfect for Batman. But I think maybe with Superman, he was a bit out of his element. I still, personally, I enjoyed Zack Snyder's Superman.
I did too. I just didn't think they were what they should have been. I just like, but then again, I just like Superman, so I could be biased.
Is he your favorite DC hero?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Really?
Yeah, always has been.
Okay.
Superman is a DC hero.
Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't see that one.
Flash have always been my favorites just because of their rivalry.
I hate Superman so much. He's such a plain Jane.
Is that your what?
Such a plain Jane. Like he's such a goody two shoes.
God. But that's what a hero is.
I like him. That's the reason I like him, because I don't know why, but everybody hates Normal, and I actually kind of like Normal. I think Normal's great.
Oh my God!
When things are not normal is usually when things kind of suck.
Yeah. Without getting too political,
but kind of fits this. Like,
I agree.
I'm not saying it's bad per se, but like he kind of fits this very stereotypical, like old way of writing. Like, you know, the hero is perfect in every way, shape, or form.
He should be.
The hero's a hero. He's not perfect. The hero is a hero. Ty, stop it.
No, but if you
he doesn't have to be perfect, but he's supposed to be the you know. I mean, there's a reason he gets his power from the sun. He's supposed to be like the sun. He's supposed to bring light.
There you go.
Yeah, all that shit is corny. Yeah,
how is it corny, man? Is he supposed to bring the fucking? Is he supposed to bring the streets, the alley, the uncertainty?
Yes.
What the fuck is that? That's not a hero.
Yes.
That's Deadpool.
This is the exact problem.
That's Deadpool.
I think we all gravitate towards. I mean, every hero has, you know, different things you like about them, man. I remember watching Spider-Man as a kid. I remember thinking, you know, it's this guy who works in a, you know, newspaper organization where the boss doesn't really like him, and he has to struggle with his Aunt May, you know, and
delivers pizza.
And, you know, the girl's always like, oh, you know, like, oh, did you just skip out again? Like, what is this double life you're leaving, you player? And, you know, he gets like, you know, coke poured on his head. Like, he's struggling. And I'm like, yo, that's, I want to say relatable, but that seems human, right? So I think that's why I like Spider-Man. And then you see other heroes as well who kind of go through the same.
Okay, human.
Yeah, but then you have this alien.
Goddamn right.
who's a freak, and he
Came
has
over the border.
nice hair, big S on his chest, just like being the shell of every single body.
That's
Just being so
right.
perfect. And I'm thinking, man, get out of here, man. No one wants
You
to
know
see
what?
this shit.
You want that struggling teenager that been hollering at this chick that can't get her
Yes.
instead of the motherfucker that can float above all the bad bitches and be like, I can fuck all y'all, but I got class.
Let's go.
I'm out.
Let's
But
go.
listen, if you're gonna be, some
I'm sorry.
guy who gets all the
I
chicks-
want to be the motherfucker flying. I don't want to be the motherfucker holding the book bag, hoping to get bit by a
No, but
radioactive.
even that guy, if you want to get all the chicks, that's
Goddamn.
fine. Then be Tony Stark, be Iron Man, be the
Goddamn.
player guy. Be the
Be
cool dude.
Stark. Why?
But then you got Superman.
Why to
who's
be
just
limited?
This
Why be
nerdy
limited?
geek. Why not?
Why be limited? That's like saying, man, I don't want to fly. I don't want to fly across the ocean. I want to find a way to walk.
What I'm saying is that if you want to be that
Like,
cocky
fuck
guy
that.
who
I
gets
wanna
all
fly.
these babes, then be Tony Stark. Then be that cocky, arrogant. Superman is too nice. Okay?
Man, I am not trying to be Tesla Superman,
The
bruh.
world is not nice.
I am
You
not
need
trying to be
nice
plug me into a motherfucking wall and let me get recharged. Like, I'm straight. I want to be able to fly straight to outer space butt naked if I want. You can't do that as Tony Stark.
Oh my god. Really?
I'm just
That was
saying.
very specific, Ham. You have thought
Ty
about
is
this.
screaming for less freedom, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Nah,
Give me all the freedom.
I don't see it, man. I'm sorry, Ty. Like, obviously, Superman is not my favorite. In DC, my favorite is Batman.
But it's crazy how
But-
like Superman, like he like the Flash is one of the fastest person, and Superman will like run against him and could potentially beat him. It's like, how? Why?
It's faster than him.
Who's
Yeah.
writing this crap? Like, why are you like so perfect? Why is it that like
Actually, no. Superman can't beat the Flash. He can't beat the Flash.
I think
it was
when he was flying, he could beat him, but when running, he can't beat him.
No, he still can't beat him. He still can't beat him. Superman cannot fly so fast that he flies through time. There's no one
he
faster
turned
than
back
the Flash. Yeah,
I think there's some.
the
comment
Flash can
behind
turn
it.
back time.
No,
by
I'm saying
run-
Superman
that's
turned
how-
back time.
Bullshit, Ham. Bullshit. When did he
Remember
do
he
that?
flew around the earth and made it go backwards?
Oh, get the fuck out of here, man. This guy. No.
And you know what? Yeah, this dude doesn't even have. He just takes off his glasses and he's a normal person again.
You goddamn right. That's all it
What
takes.
is that? What is that crap? Like who wrote this shit?
That's cinema.
Like, it's so silly.
No, you know why? No. Ty. If you just read the comic book, it seems silly. There's this bodybuilder called Anatoly. You'll find him on YouTube. He's a guy that will dress up as a janitor, but he'll cover up he'll cover up his muscles wearing a regular outfit, and you don't think he has muscles underneath there. So personally, I can see it where when Superman puts on his tight suit, right? You're like, oh, okay, that's an awesome guy right there. But when he puts on his suit, a regular reporter suit with some goofy glasses, and his hair is not all over the place and it's just like slick back, I can see how people would not look at him and be like, oh, that's Superman. And also that also speaks to, I don't know if this is a word, the genericism of the straight white man, where it's just another guy. It's that's not Superman. It's fine. It's just another white dude. He's not Superman. It's fine. So he can blend in. It makes sense if you remove your hate for Superman. If you could just get over that for 5 seconds.
He's mad because he's so motherfucking perfect. Like it's okay. Haters can hate. That's fine.
But I want to challenge you, Ty. I want to challenge you. Who's your favorite character in DC? Since you have so much vitriol for Superman, give us your alternative. And be careful, because we're probably going to shit on you.
You know, like, Lois Lane, she a regular pleb. I love her.
Oh my God.
There's two names that I'm going to throw out. One of them is Static Shock. Do you remember him?
Static Shock's
Static
fire.
Shock.
Static Shock, the kid with
Yeah, he had his own
powers.
show and shit. Static Shock was amazing.
Okay.
With the
That's your
fuzzy-
favorite character.
Well, that and Terry McGinnis, Batman of the Future.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was dope. He was real cool.
So he's not a fraud. He's not a fraud.
Nah, man. Terry, like Batman of the Future was really good. Like I think out of all of the superhero shows, that was the one that felt very mature to me. The art style was mature as well, and I think it dealt with like some really nice topics. It's a shame it never got like continued seasons, but yeah, definitely one of my favorites.
Okay, that's a good shout.
Yeah,
Static Shock and Future Batman. All right.
yeah. I
Alright.
hated Superman in Justice League. It's like, oh, here he comes again, bossing people around. This motherfucker, like,
Yo, and then when he solos the whole team,
yeah, oh my god, everyone's getting their ass beat. You know, he just shows up and he doesn't even try. He just slaps people around and it's game over. I'm like, why is he here?
bro.
Why does he exist?
Ham, I think Tyre just hates like the godly power level that Superman has.
I hate it so much.
I think that's what really pisses you off.
He just hates that my guy will beat the shit out of any of his.
He would. That's
is
the
true.
problem.
Just-
Yeah.
That is
Just
true.
break him
Yeah,
off
bro.
some.
Yeah, that's true. It's unfortunate, but
He's
also it's
easy to
great,
hate,
right?
though. You know, I mean, you know, you got Michael Jordan, you got LeBron James. You know, when you're the best at something, you just are hated.
I never hated Superman. I've never understood the hate for it. And listening to Ty, he has not presented anything other than just hateration. Nothing concrete on why Superman sucks. Nothing, bro. I'm sorry. Although your alternatives are solid choices.
No,
I
those
don't like
alternatives are
Static
nice.
Shock.
Those are
Yeah, I don't
nice.
like Static Shock, but
Wait, wait,
Batman of the Future.
I don't know how you don't like
apart from
Static
him
Shock. That's a
being super
lot.
powerful. What else do you guys like about Superman? Like, what about his story is so nice?
Truth and the American way. Dude, it's Superman, in my opinion, he's not even my favorite, but I have read a couple of his comics. He's not even my favorite, but Superman stands as the archetype of a hero. Superman is DC's Captain America. He's the guy, he is the optimum hero. And I think in everything that you do, you must have the gold standard. I think Superman is the gold standard of a hero in the DC universe. Captain America is the gold standard in Marvel. Michael Jordan is the gold standard of basketball players. Cristiano Ronaldo is the gold standard of football players. Some people would say Messi, etc., etc. You need to have your gold standard. And Ty, as much as you love Static Shock, as much as you love Terry McGinnis, none of those are the gold standard. None of them are the template on which everything else shall be iterated on forever and ever. Amen.
Well, there's a question for both of you then. Which superhero do you think is better? I don't mean stronger, but who is the definition of a proper superhero? Captain America or Superman?
Superman.
Why?
Oof.
I say Superman more or less because he never really wanted to be a hero. He never wanted to fight or do any of this stuff. He didn't even know he was really like that. He always just wanted to just be a regular person, but was always thrusted into bullshit. And he always put everybody above himself whenever he was thrusted into that bullshit. So like, I don't know, to me, and I don't know, I don't have as much background on Captain America because I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, and I don't really follow that much of Captain America, but I don't know, just in the name Superman alone for myself, he seems to be that is super of the entire world compared to when I look at Captain America. He is very much more of a team player than he is a singular by himself at all times, could damn near tackle the universe kind of superhero.
You need to read Captain America comic books, Sam,
That's fine.
because you don't expose yourself. He's not really a team player or one of those that needs the team to accomplish great things. No, Captain America
Here's what
To
I was
in the
save the
comic books,
universe? I don't know.
he's done some really big things by himself.
I'm not saying really big things. I'm saying the things. Just all of the things. Not some big things. I'm just saying of just the lives. I mean, obviously, if we were, you can't even pit these two guys against each other. You can't.
If we're talking power level, that's a different discussion to what Taya was saying.
I understand that. But I feel like Superman is what he is because of his power. So I feel like to off-put his power level is like to off-put who Superman actually is. Because if he was just a regular guy, he'd be a totally different person.
So I think I
true.
would say Captain America here simply because from first of all he's a human being, so he's one of us. So that's a W. That's 1 point right there. And
Ty is alien phobic, everyone. Ty is a bigot. He's not inclusive.
So mine is a migrant, all right, a refugee, in fact. So we don't really want that around here, correct?
Oh my god. An illegal immigrant. He doesn't have a passport.
He just showed up here and it's just like, I'm strong. I do what I want to do. I run this show. Like, who do you think you are, bro? Like, go back to
all right, settle down. He went through the education system in Kansas. He went to school. He got all the documents. He doesn't need a green card. He's actually like canonically American. So settle down on the migrant part.
Okay. Well, I think that there's something about being limited and using skill. It's why we like Batman so much, right? Because he doesn't have powers, but he uses his skill, ingenuity, he uses creativeness to actually win battles. And I think that says something about you. And I think human beings are at the best when they don't rely on brute force and strength and being godlike creatures, right? You know, Napoleon, when he did what he did, and you can look about even Caesar, all these guys, Hannibal. It wasn't just that because they were great fighters, it was because they were great leaders in the sense that they were able to take limited resources and do things with those things, right? Whereas Superman doesn't have limited resources. And there's a quote here that I think is really important that it happened in Death Battle when it was Goku versus Superman. And spoiler, Superman won that battle. And the quote that one of the guys said was this: what happens when you pit a man with the power to break any limits against another who has no limits in the first place? And I think for me, Superman is somebody who is just a god. Whereas you have these other individuals like Captain America who are trying to be better every single time. They're trying to break limits. And that's what human beings do. We always try to be something better. Superman is already better. That's a flawed character. That's not a human being. That's an alien. That's a freak.
Yeah, but that's what he is. And what makes him Superman? What makes him super, right? Sorry, pardon the redundancy. What makes him super is that he doesn't take that and go around doing all types of messy stuff. You know, he's gentle.
I think there's a flaw in
most people. He's gentle with even the villains that he fights. Superman could snap anyone in two if he wanted at the first interaction, but he always chooses not to. You could say he is more like benevolent than even Captain America. Because Captain America, when he gives you that right hook, it's all he's got. Superman's giving you like 20% of what he's got when he gives you a right hook.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
So you could say is one of the most merciful characters in existence. So now we hate him because he's powerful. Is that your argument, Ty?
No, the argument, well, I mean, it depends on the question, right? So the previous question was, who's better, Captain America or Superman? And I just outlined why Superman, we can say he's better because he's strong, he's all these things, but I think that there's a flaw there. Someone like Captain America who's looking to be better, it kind of amplifies human beings. We're always looking to be better. Loki is always looking to be better. Is looking to get more YouTube subscribers. Looking to make more money. Is looking to do this well with his business. Superman is already perfect. He doesn't have to do anything. You might say he's a nice guy and he's a nice human being, or not human being. He's a nice person, and whatever you want to call him. However, he doesn't need to be better. He's already Superman. He doesn't need to go to the gym. He doesn't need to work out. He doesn't need to read books. He doesn't. He's not really one of us. He doesn't think like us. Doesn't act like us. He doesn't have
Oh,
to.
here we go with this Kendrick
Because
bullshit.
the best thing about the best thing about human beings is that we struggle and we struggle to be better, whereas someone doesn't have to struggle to be better, right?
I think I feel like there's a hole in that conversation though, because I feel like anybody will take a shortcut when they can, right? We don't
Except for
see
Superman.
we don't see fucking Batman, with a mortar and pestle and making bullets out of scratch, right? He's building things that that's already around from within the society that he was raised around, right? So he's just using the tools of what he's used to. And not all those tools had to start from absolutely raw material. Some of them things he had other people make for him. Some things he made himself.
Some things he made schematics, then he sent it to Lucius, then Lucius made the whole thing.
But okay, to that point though, real quick, yeah. If I said if Batman and Superman got into a fight, yeah, Superman wins due to brute strength. But we know who the better fighter is, and that's Batman. He had to go off and train and work his ass off nonstop. That's a human thing to do. Superman.
Okay, Ty, in that same fight though, or not in the same argument, if we say, oh man, Floyd Mayweather is a better fighter than Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson just walks in the ring and knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Who's a better like I don't feel like calling Floyd Mayweather a better fighter matters if he loses.
No, but
being stronger matters, bro.
No,
if you lose, you're not better.
No, but hold on, yeah. But when we see, do you guys remember the fight with Brock Lesnar where he got taken down by what's this guy's name? I can't remember the dude's name. But basically, he got taken down by a guy who can fight. And the guy pointed out, like, listen, Brock, like, you're a big guy, you're cool, you're strong, that's great, yeah. But it's not impressive when you just grab someone and just use your weight to sit on them and take them down. What's impressive is being able to block, dodge, like Floyd Mayweather. That's why we respect Floyd, because we're like, this guy is an actual boxer. There's so many technical things he's doing, and it's a human being who's learned this trait, and that's impressive and that's admirable. But when somebody comes in with just huge muscles and they can just,
you're moving the goalpost.
How?
You're moving.
I don't feel like that's true though, because somebody could be awesome at wrestling all the time, right? And then somebody that doesn't know how to wrestle, i.e. Goldberg, will come in and rack up the charts and make it super popular to tune in for his 5-minute match. But all those other champions that had the belt were getting nobody to watch.
Okay.
But the guy that walks in and spears somebody and jackhammers them in a 3-minute match gets all of the praise.
Okay, but wait, so yeah, if somebody goes for a run, and they do the 100-meter sprint in like 10 seconds, right? And then somebody else does it, and this person does it because, like, I think there's a lady who had the mechanical legs and they were based off a cheater, whatever it is, or you find out that this lady's taking drugs and now she's breaking the record. You're not as impressed. It could be good, but you're not as impressed. What's impressing you is somebody who shouldn't be winning, somebody who's struggling, and they're able to succeed. So you were impressed.
Well, that's impressive because there's rules behind it. But if somebody said, hey, we're just seeing what's the fastest, and somebody pulls up running, and then there's another person fucking riding a missile. People are going to watch the person riding the missile. Fuck the person running.
No, but you're going to be more impressed with the person who didn't have to ride the missile to win.
I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's for example, okay, how about this year? Let's talk about games. The reason why you guys are so impressed with Claire Obscure, Sanford Interactive, is because it was 30, 35 developers or 33, whatever it was, that made this amazing 9.7 Metacritic game on a low budget, right?
Sure.
That's why we're impressed. But if they made this game with 400 people and a 500 million pound budget, it's a great game still, but it's not as impressive. So I'm focusing on the human part of it.
I'm impressed. I'm
That's
impressed. If
impressive.
Clay Obscure is made by Ubisoft and they charge us $50 and it looks the way it looks, I'm still glazing Ubisoft. I don't care. I'm
But
down.
do we deny that the
I think,
narrative is that?
I think that's
this
a little
small
different because
studio-
we're talking about developers that don't put a game together like Claire Obscure, right? Like we can talk about like fucking Square Enix. There's plenty of games from them where they don't go near as in depth as Claire Obscure did. There's plenty of games that they did and they got their praise for it. But when they don't do that, that leaves room for somebody that has much less that does good with it than the person that. But the thing is like that's like saying, all right, Superman can't beat this person, but Captain America can. Like I think that's a different conversation because Claire Obscure actually did finish the job. As to where we're saying some of these Square games and something like that were, made, or Ubisoft games that were made didn't really hit the mark, and it had way more people.
Well, it's more about like between those two individuals,
But if you bring up GTA 6 has tons of people working on it, and you got Claire Obscure with 30. I'm sorry, I'm more impressed with GTA. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And it has way more people on it. And it's going to make way more sales too.
Mm-hmm. But I think the emotional connection, at least to the last question, right, which is like who's better, Superman or Captain America?
I feel like Captain America is Claire Obscure and Superman is GTA in this conversation.
But you see, I think then the question that becomes, which do we think might be easier for a developer of 30 people to make a game like Claire Obscure that's 97 Metacritic, or for a big publisher like Take-Two and to have unlimited funds and unlimited hiring practices? They could do what the fuck they want to do, no one cares, to then make GTA. Like, which one is more impressive? Because somebody might make an argument that said, well, if you gave Insomniac 10 years to develop and $1 billion to develop a Spider-Man game, maybe they'll make the best superhero game ever made, right? But with Club Obscure guys, they were like, we're limited. We have 30 people with us. We have a limited budget. What can we do? And again, the human side of things says, we as human beings, we always try and we always exceed. So they tried to make an amazing product, and they did. And I think the human story is important in that element. Whereas the GTA version is like, well, y'all had $1 billion to work with. And we ain't saying it's bad. We ain't saying that y'all didn't try, but $1 billion is still $1 billion. Like, what do we expect? You know what I mean?
Yeah, damn. I've never seen such a spirited, hate of Superman. It's impressive.
Logan, I want you to read Dorian Gray's last two comments.
It is impressive. Dorian Gray says, well, here's a measure. How many times has GTA ever won Game of the Year? I mean, with the added context of it's not a Sony game, right? I mean,
he says never. I think he's agreeing with me, maybe.
Which is
I don't
true.
know. We'll see when he expands a little bit more. But I'm just saying, like, the human side of things is what makes us fall in love with companies like Clear Obscure, right? The human side of things is what makes us fall. We're like, hey, and Balatro just came out. Hey, Blueprints came out. One developer made it. One guy made this. We can do this
Schedule
too.
one. Schedule one.
Schedule one. We can do this too. But when it's a developer that had 1,000 people working on it and $1 billion to develop the game, well, no, look, you can't do that.
You know why that's not true?
Why
Witcher
not?
3, Cyberpunk 2077, motherfucking Baldur's Gate 3.
Mhm.
Dude, you're way off base with this one. Ham
What's more
definitely
impressive?
is right on this one.
Well, hold on.
People don't really care. People will just look at your product and say, this is awesome. This nuance of, oh, but this was made by 30 people, it doesn't really like jive most of the time when you're looking at just comparing the product. Because although we'll sit here and say it is extremely impressive that Clear Obscure was made by 33 people, that's excellent, no doubt. But to Ham's point, when we sit here and we compare Clear Obscure and GTA, it would be wrong for you to say, "Ooh, we're going to give Clear Obscure more points because there's less people working on it."
But this is
No,
already true, though.
we're going to take Clear Obscure. We're going to evaluate Clear Obscure as a game, and then we're going to compare it against GTA, and that is all.
But you see,
That is all.
then the comparison wouldn't work because we're not evaluating Superman's strengths and Captain America's strengths. We're evaluating the emotional connection as to who's a better hero. So then we have to look at the actual stories involved with these characters, right? And for The Witcher, it was apparently like for The Witcher 3, apparently it was like 1,000 people worked, maybe 500 to 1,000 people worked on it over different things, right, with animations. And Baldur's Gate 3 was like 400 to 500 people. Elden Ring was like around 400 people as well. And then you have Clear Obscure with 30 people. That's a better story for the industry because remember, as soon as Clear Obscure came out, it was the AAA industry needs to be ashamed of itself. That 30 people can make this game. We don't need 500 people to make an amazing game. You don't need to do this. Like, it's telling you a story that's more about the emotion and the connection of it, right? That's more important to the industry than maybe a developer coming out with an amazing game that had 1,900 people working on it, whatever it is. That's not good. That's not an emotional story. When It Takes Two won Game of the Year, it was a crazy moment. And I remember telling my ex this, that like, yeah, It Takes Two won it. And she was shocked that a game about people co-oping and a family working together that looks cartoony could win Game of the Year over the typical Call of Duty game. That's a great story for the industry. Was it the best game ever made? No, it wasn't. But the story made sense. So the story of who Captain America is and what he represents, and him, as I said, trying to break limits is a very human story. But the idea of somebody who already has no limits in Superman, that's not a sexy story.
Well, unfortunately, Tai, this is one of those moments where reality disagrees with you because Superman #1 is worth millions, and the Superman comic is still one of the most bought. The Superman character is one of the most loved and well known on the planet, and Captain America is not on the same level. It just is what it is. And I feel, Ham, correct me here if I'm wrong. I feel like the job of the hero is not to come up with just a compelling story. Because I feel like a lot of these comic book superheroes have compelling stories. The job of the hero is to actually be compelling. That is all. Ironheart is coming out soon. That story, that character does not look very compelling. We're going to come up with all types of names for the.
There's a
people that
lot of
don't
human
like-
element in some of the recent Disney shows. Why aren't those popular?
Yeah, yeah. You either have it or you don't. There's people like we can go to wrestling as well. There's people that rock up, they come up with the persona and they pop off. then there's people that don't. And it just is what it is. If your character does not engage with the people, if he doesn't connect with the people, it's not a terrible thing. It's just like, the reality of the situation. And I feel like in this specific argument, I was iffy at the beginning when you and Ham started talking, but looking at the comment section and also uh, thinking myself, yeah, I think Superman takes it. Like, no doubt, Superman takes it.
This is
Well, Superman was partially made to be what the human always wanted to be, right?
Optimum human.
Yeah. The optimum person that can kind of do whatever he wants at any time with very little resistance, if any, at many times. And we get to see what it'd be like to be that, but also the negatives of being, because now that you're seen as the almighty, most powerful, whatever, well, now even the people that you protect look at you as a vigilante, a bad person. So
it was a threat. What is a threat? You might wake up in a bad mood tomorrow.
So then Superman's whole point of existence, or not of existence, but whole point, or a lot of it, went to him proving that he is a hero and not a villain. Most of the time he has to prove not only to his enemies, but also to the people that he's protecting that he is for the good. As for a lot of motherfuckers, including Batman, at a lot of times where he's just like, I don't really give a fuck what you think.
Man, there's a time Batman got the Green Lantern.
You think I'm a villain. I'm just standing on my business. But Superman stood for everybody else's business.
There's a time Batman got the Green Lantern ring and the Black Lantern ring. Oh my word. If anyone has the time to go and read those comics, goodness me. You wouldn't want Batman to have Superman's powers. Trust me. You wouldn't want that.
I mean, just to think about Superman for a moment and think the level of, obviously it's a fictitious character, but like just to think of the level of patience that a person must have in a body like that. Not to just go nuclear. Because at any moment, he could just rip the earth in half. And just to be the hell with all of y'all. I'm finding a new planet. But he never, man. If that ain't heroic, I don't know. Because this dude could kill everybody. He could do much worse than what than what old dude did on Incredibles.
Oh yeah, the Viltrumite.
Yes.
Yeah.
He could do much worse than that, but he's just like, people throwing drinks at his face, throwing stuff at the back of his head while you walk in, talking shit on him. He just don't even react to it. Superman would beat the brakes off of you if you threw something at him. Or not Superman, Batman.
Batman. He'd turn you into a skid mark. That's what Batman would do.
Captain America, like I said, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how he would react.
Nah, I don't think he'd do that. I don't think he'd hit anyone.
I don't think so either. Just
is pretty heroic.
But like, would he be able to withstand? Because like, we get. Here's the difference to me, because we talked about little studio versus big studio and what's more impressive, and I thought it was funny. I was thinking about, man, if Captain America ran through like a really tall skyscraper and took out everybody, we'd be like clapping, like yay. But if Superman decimated a city, we'd be like, what's next, Superman? It's not that impressive.
Yeah. It's essentially his whole struggle is to not kill everyone. Dr. Manhattan left and meditated on fucking Mars. That's true. And Dr. Manhattan, Dr. Manhattan, for anyone that doesn't know, I think he could rival Superman in terms of power. Like they could have a proper fight. Obviously, it wouldn't be on this planet, but yeah, Dr. Manhattan could do some damage to Superman. No doubt. All right. Oh my god, it's 3 hours. We've been here for 3 hours, yo. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting, everyone. We really do appreciate you guys continuing to support TSWS. Welcome to the new members. Quick reminder, membership's alive. It's $1 a pop. And we shall see you tomorrow for my stream of Hellblade.
It's gonna be
If I'm feeling
amazing. Let's go.
if I'm feeling better.
It'll make you feel better.
Will it, Ham?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Sure.
Hey, now would be the best time to call it digital NyQuil if you need it. If you don't feel
Digital
good.
NyQuil. No. That's Horizon. Horizon still has that one. Horizon
You
still has
think?
that one.
All right, I want to ask you a serious question.
Okay.
Would you rather, if you had to start all over again, and I said Horizon, either of them, or Hellblade, but they were both the same length in time to complete, which one would you choose?
Oh my god. I'd take Hellblade because I don't hate the character. I don't hate Senua.
Damn, you hate old girl?
Yeah, I don't like her.
I didn't know you hated her. If I knew that, I wouldn't even ask the question.
Yeah, I don't like the inner monologue, which is ironic, obviously, because Senua has the constant inner monologue. But Senua is crazy, you know. Which
she's more entertaining to listen to.
Yeah,
and she has more than one voice in her head, right?
Yeah, which kind of works into the whole character thing. Whereas with what's her name? Aloy, she feels like she wants to be she she feels like she wants to be a hero, but she knows she isn't. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like she knows she's a fraud, or she knows she's not liked.
She knows she's really just a doctor, but she's a hero.
Yeah,
or a scientist, or whatever the fuck.
Like I just
like she was made, right? She's not really. She was made in somebody else's likeness, which renders her not really being a true hero per se.
Yeah,
or a true, or I wouldn't say true hero. I should say like an actual person.
I don't like how she talks. I don't like how she walks. I don't like nothing about her, man. Like nothing.
She reminds me of Jack and Tekken.
Dude, Jack is actually fun. He's actually funny. Actually, if you go back and play the
like
Jack
dancing,
dude, and his relationship with Boskonovich's little niece.
Oh yeah, the other robot chick.
Yeah, and then she helps him, and they have one or two funny skits. Horizon has even a couple of forced jokes in there that's just cringe, and it's like, fuck. What are we doing? What are we doing? No.
They have a love story though if you play the DLC.
What?
They got a love story if you play the DLC.
Yeah, I saw that they kissed, her and that girl. If someone told me that we had a full-on proper scene, right, like clothes off and everything, I'd
Lord,
probably go and play. I'd go and play that game.
You're sick. You're
I know. I just know what I like.
deviant.
Is that a problem? I just know what I like.
It is a problem because you're not playing the game for the right reasons.
What? You know what?
playing the
Let's
game
make
just
this
to,
a 4-hour podcast. Let's make this a 4-hour podcast. Ty,
actually, I shouldn't say you're not playing it for the right reason. I should say that you're only playing it for that reason, and that's the problem.
I don't think it's a problem. Ty, do you think it's a problem?
What's the problem? What game are you playing?
Wanting to play a game
Mm-hmm.
because it gives you certain things that you like. Like for example,
What did you be straight up, Luke? Certain
fuck up, man.
things.
God
It
damn it,
gives
Ham,
them
let me speak.
sex.
Let me speak. Stop it. Ty, for example, right? I'm not a big fan of the Horizon games, but one of them, G maybe says Luke wants her to have a yoga pants skin. Listen. These developers need to start making games for their customer. All right, they need to start targeting us. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
Lloyd, to
Anyway,
start squatting.
man, that's how you get me on that motherfucker. That's how you get me on that. Anyway, Ham. Sorry,
Oh
Ty. I
man.
was saying, I'm not a big fan of the Horizon games, but if in the DLC, right, for Horizon, if they had like a full on lesbian scene, not just the kiss, but like Witcher levels of going all the way,
Oh my
like
god. Love it.
cyberpunk levels of going all the way, right? If they did that, I'd be down to play the DLC for Horizon. Is that such a bad is it a bad thing to say, you know what, just because of that, I'm interested, I'm gonna buy that game?
As the reason to buy the game.
Yes.
He wants to buy the game so he can bang the other person that's in the game.
God damn it,
That's why
Ham.
he
I
wants-
set it up. Let him answer the question.
I'm
Don't try
just
and poison
reminding
the
him,
well. You're trying
I'll
to
say-
poison
giving
the
him a
well.
quick
no.
recap. The
I'll
clip
say no.
notes.
I think Luke is okay to buy a game for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think
Thank
it's
you. And you know
That's
what
why
my
a lot of
retort
people. That's why a lot of people bought. That's why Luke got Baldur's Gate.
game of the generation, ladies and gentlemen. Game of the
In my
you know what?
life, where's the lie?
Dude, I banged one of those demons actually. It was
I'm
super
sure you
weird.
did. You're a demon. You banged
It was-
yourself.
Get the fuck out of here. Shit. Fuzzy says Loke is a real gamer. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. G maybe DLC Horizon Downward Dog. Amen, brother. G maybe. Dairies, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says Yoga Pants Loke will defeat Superman and Goku. Just make sure, right? Make sure that the jewels are well protected and I can beat Superman. It's not a
Man,
problem.
you throw in some DOA physics and Luke's losing every time.
So my comeback, Ty, if you had disagreed with me, right? If you had disagreed with me, Ty, I would have been like, all right, so what about the people that sit there and say, oh, I wish this game had more gore, I would have bought it. Or people that say, oh, I wish this game had some romance, and then I would have bought it. These people, no one shits on these people.
You're so proud to be a deviant. You're so
I'm
proud
not a
to be a deviant. You're
I
like,
am not a
man, if you were going to tell me that being a deviant was wrong, I was going to call you a deviant.
Listen, I'm just glad Ty is so common sense. All right, I've lost hope for you, Ham, but I'm glad Ty is so common sense.
No, I've lost hope for you. I've lost hope. I lost a lot. I lost respect.
Oh my god. A long time ago. Lord Metroid says, I'm proud of you, Loke. Clap those demon cheeks. Let's go, Lord Metroid. You know I did that.
He's doing it currently.
Water-based lubricants, ladies and gentlemen. Baldur's Gate, game of the generation. That's I'm gonna end on that.
He's about to upgrade to blood-based lubricants.
You know, that doesn't sound half terrible.
Oh my god, you're sick.
Darius says Luke's weakness is DI and Dustborn. It's his kryptonite. All right. You know what? Ty, for me, right? It's Guna stuff that would make me be like, all right, I'm buying that game. what's the one like ancillary side thing that would make you be like, okay, I'm buying this game besides the obvious of like gameplay?
Honestly, I mean, it's tied to gameplay. It's like choices. If you're gonna give me a
Narrative
chance to,
choices.
yeah, if I can like decide who lives, who gets kicked, all this kind of stuff, that will be a part to play. The sexual stuff or attractive people, that I mean, that's a nice plus to have. It goes a little bit further down on my list, but it is a nice plus. Like I'll admit that, but it won't be my defining reason why I would purchase something.
All right.
Like I would have to be very, very bored to purchase a game for that reason.
All right. All right. Ham, what's the side thing that gets you to buy a game besides the obvious gameplay?
Um, causing turmoil.
GTA levels of turmoil.
Kind of. I think it'd be fun or funny
Mm-hmm.
to be able to like, I don't know. I think it'd be hilarious if I was able to talk to old girl in Starfield. Like what I'm thinking of the two girls' names. I forgot both of the girls.
Is it Sarah or Andreja?
Okay, yeah. So I think it'd be hilarious if I could holla at Andreja
Mm-hmm.
and then marry Sarah, and then they have beef.
And then I'm the deviant, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the deviant.
I always thought that'd be hilarious, just to always have somebody like to be able to get side chicks, and
Oh
they
my
find out about
That's madness.
and like you have to, and like you like lose morale points or something like that. And
Wasn't there
but
something
like
like that
there's
on The Witcher
benefits
3?
to it. But there's benefits to it. Like I need a little bit more RPG in that area.
That was one of the few pluses on Witcher 3. Spoilers, obviously, for Witcher 3. It's 10 years old, but yeah, spoilers for Witcher 3. You can romance both Triss and Yennefer and try to get them both in bed. I obviously, right, being Loke, right? Being Loke, I tried to do that. It didn't go well for me. Right? It didn't go well for me. But yeah, I can see how that would be fun. I just think it's very
But
ironic.
there should have been an option where that works.
They should have been. They should have been.
And that's the kind of freedom I'm looking for. I want it to work, and then the next time I try it not to work, and me to be called a deviant.
All right. Deviants, no other deviants. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. G maybe says I blame Mass Erect for this deviant behavior. Yeah, man. Yeah. And
How
Ty,
about
when
this?
Ty was talking about
you
choices,
sex up Jack, and then you
Okay.
start hollering at Miranda, and they have a cut scene where Jack kills her. That'd be fucking amazing.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this very weird episode of Everything Plus Gaming. Lots of gooning, lots of talking about superheroes, and turns out Call of Duty is going to be just fine. Make sure to smash Call of Booty. Make sure you guys smash the like button on the way out. Share this out to your friends. And if you're watching this the VOD, if you're watching the VOD after the live, make sure to leave your comment. Ty, please plug your channel, tell people where they can find you, etc., etc.
You guys can find me on Tire Talks, TAYETALKS. Had a fun discussion. I think the Superman versus Captain America one was really good. I think I
Yeah, that was fun.
outlined very well why we prefer Captain America. However, these two
Man is
guys on
still
the
coping.
panel are going
He's
to
still
tell
coping.
you lies. They're going to, strawman you into believing that Superman is better when he clearly isn't. He's not even a man. Let's just get that clear. He's an alien, so you can call him super alien if you wish. But Captain America, I think he embodies what every human being wants to
Your
be.
outro is fucking the arguments against Superman.
So to round up,
That's pretty sad, man.
Taya Talks, TAYATALKS.
Yo.
You can find me over here as well. Defending humanity versus
Yeah.
the aliens.
Versus the
yeah.
aliens.
Catch you guys later.
Man, that was sad.
When people say crashing out, I think that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Bro, just take the L, bro. It's not a problem.
Bro, man.
I never saw.
You played 52 card pickup when you asked him to do his outro.
God damn.
Started picking up them pieces.
He tried. He gave it his best shot. Ham, go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug before we head on out of here.
We'll see you tomorrow for a phenomenal show featuring Rose on Hellblade 2. It's going to be an absolute banger. You won't want to miss it. He's going to be so involved. It's going to be nuts. Banger audio from the game and Loke's. Yeah. Loke's microphone's going to be banging. He's going to be excited. But other than that, Wednesday, for the lowdown, me and Loke gonna do our damn thing. Matt will be coming through. We'll be talking about The Last of Us 2. Loke's gonna enjoy that part the most.
Because then I get to leave.
Nope, because we're gonna start the show off with that tomorrow.
On
Wednesday. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be great. We're gonna get that right out the way, and then we might move into talking about the Knicks like Loke loves, because he loves the Knicks.
All right. Yeah, we can do that.
And then we'll actually start the show.
They will actually start the show. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
I think we should get that garbage out of the way first. That'd be great.
Maybe. It's a lot of garbage. I mean, The Last of Us, a lot of trash.
The Knicks, even more.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone for watching. We will see you tomorrow for my stream of Hellblade 2.
Thank God we're not talking about the Lakers. Super trash.
Have a good night. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.